Sending that one forward, finds Carter Lowe through the neutral zone. Lowe waits, takes the shot, kicks aside, rebound, scores! Cole Bodwin!
Welcome to the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens in North Bay as we get ready for this afternoon's matchup between the Barrie Colts and the North Bay Battalion. Last night, these two teams met down at the Saddlin Arena. A shootout was necessary, a 3-2 final, but there was points there where it seemed like this North Bay Battalion team were ready to take the 2 points, but the Colts, they had that confidence, they had the swagger, battled back and ended up winning in the end.
Yeah, it was almost a loss for the Barrie Colts. Almost the first game they didn't get a point at the Saddlin Arena since December 20th. It took till a minute 14 to go for Ben Wilmot to tie that game at 2 as the Battalion, they kind of lost Ben Wilmot in that play. They had all 4 guys out to the wings, and then Wilmot was left wide open right out in front for that one-timer to beat Jack Lisson, and big win for the Barrie Colts once again. That's now 2 straight against North Bay, and North Bay probably a bit frustrated coming into these games based off those last 2 games. No, they weren't happy with some of the calls late in the game last night against the Colts. And then, of course, the last time we were here in North Bay, I mean, Battalion dominated that game against a shorthanded Colts group. And Ben Horebic, though, stopped 45 of 46.
Yeah, all the games so far this season between the Colts and the Battalion have been nail biters between these two teams. And that's why they were featured back in October in the rivalry weekend where they played that home and home, and now we get another home and home, and we'll see what spills over from last night's game. But one thing is constant, especially for this North Bay group, is that Jack Lisson getting the start once again, and he was sensational last night for the North Bay Battalion. Gave up his first shootout goal of the season, which is quite remarkable when you look at those numbers.
Yeah, the Battalion, they're really good when it comes to stopping pucks in the shootout. Lisson now 9 of 10, like McIver, who's out of the lineup right now with an injury. It's a perfect 6 for 6, but Lisson has done a really good job for the North Bay team this year, and they've really needed him. You think last year of Ben Horebic, a guy who wasn't really known in the league, but when Sam Hillebrand went away for the World Juniors, Horebic comes in, he stands tall, and that's how we've gotten to this point in the Barrie Colts tenure for Ben Horebic, who's become one of the best goaltenders in the OHL. You look for Jack Lisson this season, a bit of a comparable there where he's not really known coming into this season as a commodity around the OHL. And for them, unfortunately for North Bay, Sam Hillebrand was good for Barrie last year. Mike McIver's had a tough season, some injuries, an .877 save percentage for him right now. And Jack Lisson's been able to step up. He's done a really good job with McIver out with an injury right now. And it'll be an interesting question for Ryan Houlihan. When McIver comes back, does he just automatically get that starting role back, or is Jack Lisson maybe taking the reins here down the stretch for North Bay?
Yeah, and you touch on it, the playoffs just around the corner. This game is game number 51 for the Barrie Colts this season, so we're now 3/4 of the way through the 2025-26 OHL regular season, and right now, the Barrie Colts need just 1 more point, and then they'll clinch a playoff spot. And, they had an opportunity last night if the Brampton Steelheads would have lost in regulation time. They lost in overtime to the Sarnia Sting, so now it's just 1 point. Either an overtime loss or you get a regulation OT win, and the Barrie Colts, they're going to be in the postseason.
Yeah, clinching the playoffs is always nice. I don't know if it means as much right now to the Barrie Colts this season with where they are in the standings. Obviously, they know they're in a playoff spot. It's very unrealistic to think that they won't make the playoffs. But, in other years, obviously 2 years ago, the Colts, they were that 8th seed. So, clinching the playoffs, that means a lot in that scenario because you're grinding away, and then it's around game 66, 67, 68 that you clinch that playoff spot. But here in game 51 to already have an opportunity at clinching a playoff spot, that shows how good the Barrie Colts have been, and with the gap they have created over the Niagara Ice Dogs and the North Bay Battalion currently up on them. And they'll be able to clinch the division pretty soon as well.
I was just going to say, it's also a very sizable lead that the Barrie Colts have on the North Bay Battalion. North Bay, though, they still have a lot to play for. They're trying to catch the Peterborough Petes in that number 4 seed. The Petes have kind of built a bit of a gap there, and you've got a logjam. North Bay, Niagara, Kingston, all battling, trying to catch the Peterborough Petes. And if you're the Barrie Colts, this could be a playoff preview if North Bay falls to that 6th seed if the Colts finish in number 2.
Yeah, it was gapping on the numbers. 19 points right now. Barrie's ahead of both Niagara and North Bay, so they're in a really good spot there. But then like you mentioned, when you look in the middle of the conference, the Kingston Frontenacs have kind of surprised everyone with the way they've played since the trade deadline. You figured, okay, Hopkins and Battaglia are gone. They're going to start to struggle and play really slow down the stretch, but they've actually been better. Alex McLean's done a good job there. Matthew Minchek in net is a really strong goalie that's going to give a playoff team maybe a bit of a hard time. You think a couple of years ago, Sam Hillebrand winning those 2 games for Barrie against Oshawa. I wouldn't be surprised if Matthew Minchek can take a couple of games from one of these top teams come round 1 there. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting race for all those teams down the stretch. I think the main goal is getting that 5 seed. Obviously, North Bay, Niagara, Kingston, they'd love to have home ice and get up to that 4 seed over Peterborough. But I'm sure they'd rather play the Petes than these top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference that have completely ran away with the East.
And of course, Barrie Colt fans wanting to keep a close watch on the scoreboard. Both the Brantford Bulldogs and Ottawa 67s are in action this afternoon. Ottawa, they're taking on Owen Sound, while Brantford will be in Kingston to face the Frontenacs. And right now, it's just 2 points separating the top teams in the Eastern Conference. So these are big points for the Barrie Colts. If they want to try and get that number 1 seed, it's not going to be easy, as it's been a 3-horse race for most of the year for tops in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's been quite the run. The Brantford Bulldogs, the way they played early on in the season, you thought they were going to just run away with it. And then, like we talked about the last 2 days, it felt like after Barrie lost to Brantford a couple of weeks ago, they were in a bit of a tough spot there where it's okay, Brantford has games in hand. They've already got this 4 or 5 point gap on you. And the Colts have the hardest schedule down the stretch, but the Colts have played good since then. They haven't lost since that loss to Brantford. They've now won their last 4 games, and Brantford's kind of sputtered again. They lose in overtime to Kingston. They lose to Ottawa last night. And all of a sudden, all these teams are right close together again. And it's going to be such an interesting stretch run. And it's kind of weird how the schedule's worked out. Brantford and Ottawa, 2 divisional opponents, they're done playing each other this year, but both teams still have to play the Barrie Colts down the stretch. 2 more with Ottawa, 2 more with Brantford for Barrie.
No, it's going to be a fun race to the 2026 OHL playoffs. And the Colts, as we mentioned, they can clinch a playoff spot here this afternoon in North Bay with a single point. We're still a few minutes away from the start of this one in North Bay. So let's catch up with head coach Dylan Smoskowitz in our Coach's Corner feature presented by Mariposa School of Skating.
Catching up with Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. Last night, squeaking out a win there in a shootout. North Bay basically gave you guys everything they could. Happy with that performance last night?
I'm happy with a bunch of it. I don't think we're over the moon happy. I don't know if it was the perfect 60-minute effort that we would have liked to give. But again, give North Bay credit. They're a good team, and they're not going to make it easy on you. They're a rival. They know us well. We know them well. But again, really proud of the guys for sticking with it. I was telling some people after the game that if you would have been a fly on the wall on our bench, you wouldn't have known that we were down with minutes left to go in that game. The positivity, guys having each other's backs, guys lifting each other up. It was pretty cool. So even though we were down, we always had this feeling that we were going to be okay.
And I feel like every time it's the game after Jaswal's in net, we're always talking about him. He's now won 8 straight. He made some unreal saves there late in the game. Talk a bit about him and what he brings to this team.
Well, it's such a luxury as a coach. Like, I turn my brain off and just kind of jumble them up and say, okay, whoever's going to start tonight doesn't really matter, because both guys are giving us phenomenal efforts. We don't have a 1 and a 2. We've got 2 number 1s, and it's, there's some teams in this league who don't even have a number 2. But for us to have 2 number 1s is phenomenal. Jazz works so hard. Got to give so much credit to Dave Belitsky, our goalie coach, and Jazz just buying in, putting in the time. Is beloved by his teammates. They have his back when he's in there. They're super proud of him, super happy for him. So we're all just kind of enjoying watching him on his ride.
And I know you usually talk about win the day. We don't focus too much on the schedule ahead, but right now 1 point from clinching a playoff spot. Are you thinking a bit about that at all, and how exciting it is that you're going to have a playoff spot potentially locked up sooner rather than later?
It's nice to know that we'll be in the playoffs, but again, what does that change? Whether we clinched last week or whether we clinch the last game of the season, you're always preparing to win the day. And today is a playoff game. So we don't think that this game means anything more than the next game does or anything more than last night's game does. We need to win today, but even if we don't win on the scoreboard, if we don't have more goals in our opposition, we just want to have a solid game, a game that we can really rest your hat on and feel good about going into more important games, going into the playoffs. We want to be hitting our stride. So just in terms of feeling good about ourselves and our performance and where we're at as a team, it's a very important game today.
And today you're going with 7 defensemen. Teague Vader, that 7th, he was on the ice on Friday night in Brampton. He looked outstanding there. Is this kind of rewarding him for his efforts a bit?
Definitely. Again, just as I was talking about with the goalies, a luxury as a coach is a luxury to have 24 guys who are more than capable to jump into your lineup and not just be fillers, but actually help your team. You know, it's not like I thought even Edgar had a bad night last night. I thought he was great for us. I just know that Teague Vader's going to be great for us today. So to have guys who you can plug in and play up and down the lineup, not have to worry about limiting their ice time or limiting their role, it's, you know, as a first-year coach, it's probably the thing that I'm most fortunate to have as you know, as an extra bullet there, that I know I can put anyone over the boards and have full confidence in their ability.
That was Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz in our Mariposa School of Skating Coaches Corner, and Dylan Smoskowitz talking about how they're going with 7 defensemen here this afternoon. This is a look we haven't really seen much of this season. Down in Saginaw, Ethan Armstrong was put in the lineup, but he was on the 4th line, not that extra defenseman per se. So, you know, for the Colts, a little bit of a different look here, and especially now it's 3-3. You want to, you know, spread out those minutes, especially for the defensemen.
Yeah, the defense have logged a lot of minutes here over the last couple of days, and Justin Hanser did miss Friday's game with an injury, so obviously maybe trying to get him a little bit less on the ice today. And I thought Teague Vader had a really strong game on Friday. He looked pretty good, a guy that has kind of proven here in the 2 games he's played since the trade deadline that he's a guy that's able to come in and out of the lineup for Barrie Colts and immediately be able to make an impact. And like you mentioned, Ethan Armstrong was on the 4th line that last time. It looked like about halfway through the game, Dylan Smoskowitz decided he'd rather that 11-7 format, and Armstrong started playing defense. So not even going to bother with putting Teague Vader on a 4th line forward role here today. They're just going straight to 11-7 role. And Eamon Edgar, unfortunately, is the guy that has to come out in that scenario for the Barrie Colts, who's played pretty solid as of late. I was talking to him last night and kind of mentioned the fact that it feels like him and Jaden Newton are starting to get some really good chemistry as of late. It feels like any guy that Jaden Newton plays with immediately is able to click with him.
Yeah, Jaden Newton, yeah, he's been on another level, it seems, of late. That goal last night against the North Bay Battalion from the corner, banks it in off of Jack Lisson into the net. A nice pool shot. I wonder if he called a shot before it ended up going in the net. But great work there from Jaden Newton. And for Teague Vader, too, still looking for his first career OHL goal. Just 5 assists so far this season. But he's like a defenseman that just keeps plugging away at it. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Justin Hanser, how it took him a little bit to get going. And then he finally got his first career goal this season after last year's start. And it almost seems like Vader may be on that similar trajectory.
Yeah, Vader's kind of similar to Justin Hanser in the same way as well, where it's his first full season in the OHL. And earlier in the year, he was getting all these opportunities. But as the season gets deeper, the Barrie Colts are getting deeper as well. Obviously, acquiring Parker Von Richter, getting fully healthy on that back end. And so for Barrie right now, I mean, Teague Vader, Ethan Armstrong, they don't really have a set out role, but similar to Justin Hanser last year, Dylan Smoskowitz able to get them in every now and then next season they're going to be able to increase their role and show what experience they learned here down the stretch this season.
So the players now coming out on the ice as we're just a couple minutes away from puck drop here at the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens. But this has been quite the series already this year between the Colts and the Battalion. North Bay, despite losing in a shootout last night, they've been playing much better hockey of late. They won in a shootout, a come-from-behind victory over the Windsor Spitfires Thursday, and Windsor is one of the top teams right now in the Western Conference. So, yes, the Colts 1 point into the playoff spot, but this North Bay team, they're not going to make it easy.
Yeah, they've done a good job against some of the big teams in the league. Of course, you mentioned beating Windsor, but they also beat Brantford just a couple of weeks ago, right before that game against the Barrie Colts. North Bay beat the Bulldogs in overtime, and then of course, even last night and in all 4 games this season between these two teams, they've been tight contests. The only non-1-goal game was a 2-goal game here in North Bay. Last time these two teams faced off here, and that was because Brad Gardner got an empty net. So every game without empty netters has been a 1-goal game. It's always tight when these two teams take off, and it should be another close one today.
Now, the lineup very similar for the North Bay Battalion. Just a couple of changes. Ryder Carey and Carter Kanapaski both out of the lineup. So back in is Cronin. He's getting a chance there up front along with Nanzo. So very similar look for North Bay as we saw last night. Also for the team, Jack Lisson back between the pipes. Back-to-back games for him. It's the North Bay team with Ryan Houlihan and company. They mean business, and they're trying to jockey for positioning.
Yeah, they're in a similar spot as Barrie with their defense. Manto's a guy that plays a ton. They acquire Hayden Barch at the trade deadline. Didn't really send anyone out, so obviously a guy that's played often is going to have to sit a bit more. And then for Anthony Pronin as well, got the game winner earlier this season at the Sadlin Arena in a game between the Colts and Battalion, so he'll be a guy to watch out for tonight or this afternoon to make an impact.
And it's also Super Bowl Sunday, so hopefully this game will go at a quicker pace because we still want to drive home and watch the big game later tonight.
Our producer, Josh Koppa, was aiming for a 23-round shootout, he said last night to me on the phone. So hopefully he's wrong, and let's just run the clock.
That'd be great. But anyways, they're right now doing a ceremony at center ice, so the national anthems are coming up just next. But when we return, we will have puck drop here from North Bay between the Barrie Colts and the North Bay Battalion. So we're just about ready to go here for a puck drop between the Barrie Colts and the North Bay Battalion. When we have a moment, let's take a look at our starting goaltenders. Presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
Well, for the Barrie Colts, Ben Horebic back in net for start number 35, a career high in the OHL for Horebic. 21-8-2-3 on the season with a .925 save percentage and a .268 goals against average. Horebic's last start came on Friday, stopping 21-22 in the win over Brampton. For the North Bay Battalion, it's Jack Lisson making the start for the second straight night and his sixth straight start for North Bay. 28th appearance of the year, 16-7-1-1 with 917 save percentage and a .233 goals against average, coming off a 44 of 46 performance in the loss last night to Barrie.
The referees tonight, Mitchell Hardy and Kyle Whiteman, and on the lines, Charlie Geisler and David Milne. As these two teams ready to go, they got the inflatable tank tucked away in the corner, just waiting for the carpets to be removed, and we can get this game underway. But it's always exciting when we have these two teams go head-to-head. This is our third and final trip to North Bay, and we've had all different weather conditions every time we've been up here.
Yeah, we're pretty happy to not have the freezing rain on the way home tonight. That tank's always interesting because they get all this effort to set it up, but then once they're done with it, they got to get it out so quickly. They're just shoving it in there.
Stuff it in the corner.
Get it out.
So they've got that tucked away. It looks like we're ready to go. As getting the start here would be Jaden Newton taking the draw up against Abratsev, and we are underway. Face-off won by the Colts. Hanser sends it ahead to Nicholas Desiderio. He's going to dump it in. Puck goes deep into the North Bay zone. Quickly after it is Carter Lowe in front. No one could get a stick on it. Laird trying to get it out. It's bouncing. Newton passes that one across. Desiderio couldn't get to that. Pronin picks it up here for North Bay. And the Battalion get it out to center, but it's taken away by Hanser. Justin Hanser is going to skate this one in for the Colts. Sends that one to the far corner. Hanser will get it himself, trying to put it behind the North Bay net. There's a bump from Newton. He's delivering hits there along the boards. Cronin's knocked over, and that's going to go down the length of the ice. Icing is waved off. Both teams will make changes. Passmore back to collect it for the Colts. Hanser takes it away from Passmore as he's going to go off for a change. Cole Bodwin making his first shift here. Back up to Hemming. Hemming from the blue line, reaches center ice, carries this one in, takes the shots, and that's deflected out of play as we'll get our first whistle.
I've seen a couple times as of late, Dylan Smoskowitz deciding to put that fourth line out there to start, and they have a pretty solid job there. Good game last night. Newton getting that opening goal that we talked about. Desiderio and Eckert getting the assists on that play, and for Barrie, that fourth line, they've done a good job all season, and they really haven't been dominated and out at any point this year.
Well, I'm almost wondering, too, if we're going to see a more balanced game here for the Barrie Colts, trying to manage ice time with this being 3 games in 3 nights. Cole Beaudoin right now circling the offensive end, goes back to Aitchison. Beaudoin fires shot, scores just like that. What a bullet from the point. Cole Beaudoin, 21 goals on the season, and it's an early 1-0 lead.
Well, that didn't take long. Cole Beaudoin, similar to the other night, that one-timer against the Steelheads. He has another one here. Great play. Beaudoin doing what he likes to do, doing that lap around the zone, sending it across to Aitchison, who draws the defender, and then the big one-timer from the Barrie Colts co-captain, Bronson Ride, couldn't get in front of that one in time, and Colts are off and running early here.
Last night, it almost took us 5 minutes to get our first shot of the hockey game. Now we have our first goal in just over a minute. This is a good pace. That was a good clapper there from Cole Beaudoin. North Bay looking to respond. Gervais will send this one deep. Eliasson can't get to it. Ryder Cali behind the net, trying to put it in front. That's going to bounce to Ben Horebic, and he's going to hold on.
Well, like you mentioned, not a lot of shots early on there in that game. Even Friday night in Brampton, it took a while to get going. It was pretty late in that first period. The Colts get that power play, and that started opening up the game. But before that, shots were 7-3 for the Colts through about the first 15 minutes.
Face-off won by the Colts. Puck goes behind the Barrie net. Here's Cole Emerton up to Salandra. Salandra sends this one across. Wilmot, riding a 4-game goal-scoring streak, sends this one in, but it's taken away by the Battalion, and they'll move it up. On the far side, Amidovsky ends up going back behind the Barrie net, collecting it as Emerton. Emerton's going to drop it back. Eliasson picks it up for the Colts, up to Salandra. Across for Cole Emerton. He's going to skate this one back. Up through center. It goes off Gardner. He was off balance there. Salandra picks it up for the Colts. Over to Eliasson. Gardner throwing his weight, or Salandra throwing his weight around at center ice. Gervais fires, and that's going to go out of play as Joe Salandra already making his presence known in this one.
Well, that's second line, and Joe Salandra and Brad Gardner were put together with Mason Sapeski for most of the third period last night, and they were all over the Battalion in the offensive zone, and Sapeski was all over the netminders. He was right in that crease, digging away. That kind of annoyed the North Bay players, and Joe Salandra, of course, whenever there's a scrum out in front, he's usually involved.
Here's Carter Lowe to the net, takes the shot, listen to the save, it's loose, they jam at it. Puck goes behind the net. Crombie loses it. There's a Battalion player who's slow to get up. That's Enright. Schneid after the puck. Battling along the boards. Keeps this one in. Up to Carter Lowe. Lowe from the corner. Will peel back. Drops it for Schneid. Schneid behind the North Bay net. Goes back to Lowe, but that's taken away. Trying to get that one out. There's a shot from Crombie, and that goes wide of the net. Hanser has it at the point to Vader. Vader puts this one across. It's a couple of loose sticks in the corner. Looks like a yard sale over there. Battalion will pick it up. Here's Parker Vaughn. Vaughn quickly ahead to Warren. Warren sets up Moses at center ice. He was keeping an eye on Desiderio, who's coming off the bench. Colts picking up. It's Justin Hanser. He's got speed coming up from behind the net. Cross-ice feed. Newton couldn't get to it. Puck goes back in the North Bay end. Bronson Ride sends this one up the wing. Wallenrider doesn't get it too far. Teague Vader was there. Hanser up the board. Salandra couldn't get a stick on it. It's touched by Manzo, so no icing. Barch back to play it. Loses it to Desiderio. Desiderio's pass is deflected. Colts trying to keep it in. That's sent out. So it's laid offside here against the Colts. Manzo, who's back in the lineup here for North Bay, he's going to play it up the wing. That's deflected. Procession can't get to it. Tayshaun Aitchison. Aitchison had that one blocked by Procession. It's a turnover. Battalion trying to capitalize, but Petrie couldn't pick it up. Salandra through the neutral zone. He's going to dump this one in. Goes behind the North Bay net. Harper there to pick it up. Takes a hit from Newton. Procession. He's bumped by Salandra. Adrian Manzo. takes his time, sets up Caden Petrie, the former Firebird. Petrie peels back, trying to keep it away from Jaden Newton. North Bay right now completing a line change. Debrontsev loses at the Barrie blue line. He had Zebesky in the way. Here's Cole Bodwin, the goal scorer, goes to Emil Hemming. Hemming shot stopped by Listen, and that's going to be guided into the netting and out of play.
Oh, Barrie Colts managing 11-7. Obviously, it's a bit different as got to get the fourth line guys, Newton and Desterio, out there for shifts with Bodwin and Gardner and Teague Vader, of course, getting an opportunity there with Justin Hanser. They just honored Ryan Houlihan for his 500th game in the OHL, and it's not the only milestone. Dave Cameron celebrating game 100 or 1000 today with the Ottawa 67s.
Yeah, it's milestone afternoon, it seems, in the OHL when it comes to coaches. So congrats to Ryan Houlihan for North Bay, 500 games, and Dave Cameron of Ottawa with 1,000. Right now it's 1-0 for the Barrie Colts here at the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens. Puck's behind the North Bay net. Ryder Callie's trying to play it. Zebesky on the forecheck knocks down his man. Gervais after the puck. Ends up at center. Hemming is there to tie him up. Puck sent back. Ride up to Callie. Ryder Callie being pressured there by Bodwin along the boards. He'll send this one back behind the Barrie net. Amidovsky in a battle with Gabriel Eliasson. Amidovsky sends it back to the point. Battalion send it right back behind the Barrie net. There's Von Richter. Von Richter bumped there by Callie. Eliasson, he'll skate it back behind his own net. Here's Mason Zebesky. Zebesky ahead for Hemming, trying to catch up to it. Out of his reach, icing's waved off. Back to play it here for North Bay. That's Hayden Barch. Barch will play it over to Ride. Ride back to Barch. Nearly gave that up to Gardner. North Bay able to move it up. Amidovsky through the neutral zone, carries it up to Gervais. Hit shot goes over the net. Looked like Parevic may have got a piece of it. Amidovsky in the corner loses it to Teague Vader. Behind the net, Emerton. Up to Salandra. Colts move this one up. Here's Teague Vader at center. Sets up Ben Wilmot. Wilmot sends it back, but getting in the way of that was Amidovsky. Puck sent to the boards. Wilmot will peel this one back. Here's Emerton. Emerton takes it down low. Looks back to the blue line. Here's Ben Wilmot. Back to Emerton. Emerton along the boards. Down low to Salandra. Behind the net. Joe Salandra in front. Backhand for Wilmot. No, doesn't take the shot. Surrounded by green sweaters. North Bay trying to get it out. That's Debrontsev, and he'll send it up ice. Chasing after it is Pronin. Pronin will beat out the icing call. Trying to put it in front, but Vader with a great block on that pass attempt. Emerton, long stretch pass to Wilmot. Wilmot enters the North Bay zone, sends this one back behind the Battalion net. Parker Vaughn will collect it. Vaughn passes it ahead to Laird. Laird decides to go back to Manzo. Colts right now completing a line change. As we've now passed 6.5 minutes into this first period, not a lot of whistles. Great pace already this afternoon. Carter Lowe trying to get it out of his zone, passes it up to Crombie through center. Crombie on the wing. Takes the shot. It's going to go wide of the net. Listen got a paddle on it. North Bay looks to come up the ice. Through center is Moses. He's going to dump this one in. Ends up back behind the net. Hanser back to pick it up. Hanser takes a bump. Moses trying to dig it free. Here's Cam Warren from the half boards. Warren looking over his shoulder. He'll send this back behind the Barrie net. There's Moses. Moses bumped there by Hanser. Goes back to Manzo. Just keeps that in play. Takes the shot. That goes over the net. Carter Lowe after the loose puck. He's able to get this one down the ice. And that's going to be an icing call against Barrie with 12:50 still to go in the first period. But a much better pace than what we saw last night down in Barrie.
Aitchison and Vaughn going at it now, and those two are getting into it in front of the net now as they went over to the benches going at it again. And like you mentioned, though, that it's been a much stronger start to this one for both teams. Shots still only 3-1 as they still feel each other out here in the first 8 minutes of this one. And for Vaughn and Moses, always got to be good to play your former team and try and prove something to them. We've seen them get into it over the last couple of years. Vaughn got into a fight last season with Michael Durbich, and then Shamar Moses with the goal last night that gave North Bay the lead, and then showing off the Battalion logo to the Colts crowd.
Yeah, and that was a great goal, too, from Moses coming out of the corner with that backhand. But it just adds to the storylines season by season. We've talked about it on prior broadcasts, how it's got to be hard trading within your division. Like the Colts, they know what they need for their group, and you would see it quite often with the players that you're playing against night in, night out.
Yeah, there's now 5 guys in the division that the Colts have traded: Sam Black, Grayson Tiller, Riley Patterson, and of course Vaughn and Moses. And we've seen it a lot here, especially with these two and Moses and Vaughn. Moses probably the biggest storyline for North Bay last night. He gets that beautiful goal to snap a pointless streak, give North Bay the lead, but then from there, he takes that high sticking penalty, gets the stick up on Will Schneid, and Colts score on the ensuing power play to tie the game and eventually win it.
So we'll get the space off now to the left of Ben Hrebeck. 12:50 to play in the first period. 1-0 for the Barrie Colts. Face off, won by Barrie. Aitchison sends this one ahead. Aitchison avoided a hit from Parker Vaughn as those two continue to have words. And now it's going to be an icing or offside call as Vaughn couldn't get back in time. It's all about the game within the game.
That's always interesting to see. Now Vaughn and Aitchison exchanging words again. It's interesting to see. It seems like every game between the battalion and the Colts, Parker Vaughn usually gets into it with his old teammates as he. Well, obviously, you get traded, and in a season where the Barrie Colts are among the best teams in the league, North Bay was struggling last year, finished 8th in the conference, and you kind of just want to prove to the Colts, hey, I could have been a part of your playoff run. Maybe you win a few games against Oshawa with me in the lineup, and that's obviously what Vaughn and Moses are out to prove, and they'll be out to prove it again this season that the Colts would be better off with them in the lineup.
Well, Parker Vaughn, 11 goals, 15 assists, 26 points on the season. As the battalion send this one deep into the Barrie zone, Von Richter puts it out in front. Baudouin able to pick it up. Goes across to Hemming. Hemming reaches center, drops it back to Zabeski. Zabeski carrying it in for the Colts. He's taken it to the boards by possession. Battle along the boards. It's in the corner. Barch there to pick it up for North Bay. Gives it to Wellenrider. Hemming throwing his weight around. Bronson Ride with possession of it. Ride puts it up the middle. At the blue line, Aitchison keeps it in, but that's taken away by Caden Petrie. Petrie picks up momentum through center, still with it. Petrie carrying this one in. Von Richter, though, got a stick in the way. Colts trying to get it out, but Petrie puts it right back to the near corner. Kayshawn Aitchison around to Desiderio. Nicholas Desiderio across to Jaden Newton. Newton skates this one in for the Colts, takes the shots, and listen, makes the glove save, and he'll hold on to it.
Shots now 4-1 in this one, and Colts have done a good job in their own zone, keeping North Bay away from the front of the net, not letting them get any lanes towards Ben Hrebeck, who his last couple starts have been a bit more calm for him. Only 23 shots against Saginaw last weekend, 22 the other night against the Steelheads.
Yeah, it's been quite the difference from what we saw at the start of the season, where it seemed like the opposition was having a free pass to the net with shots. But defensively, the Colts have really tightened things up as Callie carries this in, takes the shot, stopped by Hrebeck. Eliason gets to the line, not out. It was a glove-to-head pass, so the Colts will touch it up. Newton gets it out. Desiderio drops it for Crombie. Calvin Crombie carrying it in, takes the shots, and listen, makes the glove save. As the Barrie Colts right now just pucks to the nets and we're looking to see what happens.
Yeah, Jack Lipson are coming off a good game last night, and we'll have to see how he can fare. Second game in under 24 hours. Here you saw Newton and Desiderio out with Calvin Crombie, and that's one of the good things about the versatility of Jane Newton. Normally, when you have 11 and 7, your two fourth liners, they come out with whoever the center is. Both Newton, he's a good winger, he's a good center. You can kind of just mix and match. If you want to put Hemming out there with them, or Baudouin, or Crombie, or Gardner, or whoever you want, basically on the lineup, can go out with the two of them.
Well, Dylan Smoskowitz has talked about it before. He's got a lot of confidence in the 24 players on this roster, and he can mix them up and seems to have good chemistry either way. As the Colts get it off the draw, Wilmot in the corner takes a hit from Enright. Battalion with it. Nemedovsky to Ryder Callie. Callie's going to flip this one down the ice. That was before the red line. So that's going to be an icing call against North Bay. So they'll bring this one back.
Be interesting to watch. Like we're just talking about, listen, Armin Jaswell was talking about, guys got a bit less than 8 hours of sleep last night with, obviously you got to get up here pretty early in the day. As North Bay, it'd probably be similar. It was bad to take the bus ride back last night and then get here just past 2 a.m. and then Right back to Listen, though. He's getting another start.
Well, I'm kind of surprised we're seeing Listen on back-to-back games, but these are important points for the North Bay Battalion trying to fend off Niagara and Kingston in the Eastern Conference standings. Right now, Niagara and North Bay tied, and the Ice Dogs do have the tiebreaker. As the battle continues in the corner, Salandra sends this one around the boards. Hanser has it at the point, keeps this one in, goes to Gardner. Gardner stepped on the puck. Greer takes it and sends it out to center. Justin Hanser from his own blue line passes it ahead for Salandra. He's going to dump it in, blocked by Greer. Greer in front of his own bench, passes it up to Gervais, but that's deflected. Colts pick it up. Pass more ahead to Wilmot. That got by him. It was touched, so no icing. Enright there to play it. Enright skates into his own teammate. Colts pick it up. Ben Wilmot inside the blue line. Passes this down low. Gardner trying to go across, but Pronin was there, and the Battalion will get this one out. It's Laird at center. He's forced back by Vader. Rolls all the way back to the Battalion net. Adrian Manzo behind his own goal. He'll pass this one up, deflected by Schneid. Puck taken away at center. Crombie can't touch it. It was delayed offside. So this gives Manzo some time to move it up. Manzo passing this one forward. Laird can't hold on to it. Back to Enright. His pass picked off by Schneid. William Schneid on the wing. He's going to send this one around. Far side is Lowe. Carter Lowe takes a bump from Manzo. Colts trying to keep this one in play. It's sent down the ice. Vader beats Laird to the puck. And his stick breaks when he's trying to make the pass, but it still reaches Calvin Crombie. Crombie dumps this one in. Schneid after in a battle with Moses. Shamar Moses can't get a stick on it. Eliasson keeps it at the point, takes the shot. That's blocked. Warren will get it out. Carter Lowe at center. Ahead for Crombie. Calvin Crombie on the wing, trying to get around Manzo. Manzo bumps him into the boards. Carter Lowe throws his weight around. Moses receives the pass. He'll put this one out to center ice. Puck bouncing. Von Richter comes up with it. Puts that one across. Goes off Carter Lowe. He's going to go off. Looks like he was going off for a change. So some miscommunication there in front of the Colts bench. Von Richter. His pass. Deflected. Bodwin couldn't pick it up. Warren to Vaughn. Vaughn skates into Zabeski. He gets the worst of it as the Battalion will just dump it in. Parker Von Richter behind his own net. Sets up Cole Bodwin. 8.5 minutes left to go in the first period. Bodwin skates this one in for Barrie. Takes the shot. Stopped by Listen. There's the rebound, but Vaughn will get to it first. Vaughn gets it out. Aitchison at center ice. Plays it ahead to Bodwin. Nice pass there to Zabeski. Zabeski drops it to Hemming. Hemming shot. Oh, and that goes over the net. That may have hit the crossbar. But what a chance there for the Colts. But now we've got Bronson Ride going after Von Richter. Von Richter and Ride both dropped their gloves, but they're going to be separated right away by the linesman.
Just let him go.
There's a bit of a size difference seeing those two nose to nose.
Well, that comes after Ride laid a big hit on Cole Bodwin against the boards there. So Von Richter stepping in, standing up for his captain there. And both of them try and drop the gloves, but the officials were already in between them, and they say no.
Well, Parker Vaughn stands at 6'1", 195 pounds. And then when you look at Bronson Ride, 6'7", 212 pounds. So 6 inches for Ride over Von Richter.
Last time we saw that was Eliasson and Doucette in Sudbury. And,
Yeah.
Eliasson got a bit angry during that fight and big takedown on Doucette. Obviously, it took a while for Doucette to get back in the lineup, but glad to have him back for Sudbury. Colts are trying to figure something out here with their players.
Well, it's going to be a 4-on-4 situation. Ride and Von Richter called for the roughing. Face off to the left of Listen, won by the Colts, and it comes back. Mason Zabeski with possession. Up ahead to Hemming. Emil Hemming goes back to Zabeski. Colts going with 3 forwards here to start this 4-on-4. They're going to make a change now. Cole Bodwin in front. Puck's just sitting there. Procession couldn't get there in time.
I wonder if that was the confusion. They thought it was 5-on-5, and then they were too late to get Zabeski back off the ice.
Battalion get it right back into the Barrie zone. There's Cole Emerton. He'll send it across. Picked up by Aitchison. Aitchison will skate this one in. Puts it to the corner. Bodwin gives chase. Bodwin sends it around to Aitchison on the near corner. Aitchison back to the line. That's just kept in by Hemming. Down to Bodwin. Bodwin trying to go back to Hemming. He's tied up. Cole Emerton from the half boards. He'll come back to the point, sends this one around. Cole Bodwin from the corner, trying to go back to Emerton. Emerton peels back. Emerton along the boards. Bodwin can't get to it. It's picked up by Greer. Puck sent across. Aitchison looking to keep it in. He will. Up to Bodwin. Puck's bouncing. Procession takes it away. Up to Greer. Battalion move it up as it's now 46 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Greer peels back. Both teams will make a change. Amidovsky comes up with it here for North Bay. He's got momentum through the neutral zone. Amidovsky takes the shot, stopped by Harevik. Went off the top of his stick. What a stop there by Harevik. Now the Colts come back the other way. It's Ben Wilmot on the wing. He'll hit the brakes. Puts this one across, but Callie picks it off. Now the Battalion move it up. Ryder Callie on the wing. He's got Harper on the trailer. Harper across, trying to go back to Callie, but getting a stick in the way was Passmore. Callie up top, goes to Harper at the point. Across to Manzo. He'll send this one around. Ryder Callie in the near corner. Battalion moving it around. The two penalized players about to come on the ice. Callie keeps this one at the point. Over to Manzo. Manzo's pass blocked by Gardner, but he gets it back. Puck into the slot. Parker Von Richter knocks this one out to center ice. Brad Gardner will skate this one in for the Colts. Gardner hits the brakes. Right now, both teams are making changes. Gardner waiting for reinforcements. Wilmot's there. Battle along the boards. Ends up back behind the North Bay net. Manzo collects it. Takes the hit from Wilmot. Puck sent ahead. North Bay with possession. That's knocked off the stick. Good work there by Salandra. Now the Battalion will get it out to center as Debratsev was trying to send it forward. Jade Newton chasing after it in the North Bay zone. Backhand blocked by Wellenreiter. Back to the blue line, it's Vader. Vader keeps this one along the boards. Up to Salandra. Puck goes to the corner. Newton continues it back to Crombie. In front, shot stopped by Listen. What a chance for Salandra. Eliason at the point. Doesn't take the shot. Now he'll fire it, and that's going to go wide of the net. Puck ends up in the corner, picked up by Harper. Eliason trying to keep that one in play. Now it's the Battalion getting it out. That's Sebastian Gervais. Up to Wellenreiter. Delayed offside here against North Bay. Procession forced to peel back at center. Ethan Procession. Nice move to get around Salandra. Stays with it. Procession stopped by Harevik. Eliason will send this one around. Picked up by Salandra. Off the boards. Ends up in the neutral zone. Nice move there. Salandra moves it up. Salandra trying to go between the legs and around the defense, but he's tied up. Picked up here by Schneid. Schneid in the corner. Battling there with Barch. Laird now with it for the Battalion. Under 5 minutes remaining in this first period. And that's going to be an icing call. It's been a pretty good pace to this opening 20 minutes. Right now, shots 8-4 in favor of the Barrie Colts.
Well, didn't want to mention it until saw some confirmation online, and we were correct in the pregame before we went live. It is the mom's trip today. It is the mom's trip. The moms are in the house for the Barrie Colts, and just saw on Twitter they read the lineup out, the starting lineup out in the locker room earlier today. So head over to Colts Twitter if you want to see that.
Well, we saw a whole bunch of Barrie Colt jerseys during the warm-up, and I was wondering, are those the moms? Because they were all wearing different jerseys.
Yeah, they're all different names.
Yeah, like Passmore and Bodwin, Gardner, and that's great.
I like how I noticed in the video, Aitchison's mom still has his 74 jersey from when he first broke into the league. She has an upgrade to the 77. She's kept that first jersey going.
Yeah, that's probably a favorite because it's the first OHL jersey for K-Shot.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a rare jersey to find, an Aitchison 74. And here I know on his Islander jerseys, though, too, I think they're 74. So
yeah, because he can't get the 77, I guess, with the New York Islanders. But still, the mom's trip.
Yeah, that's awesome to see.
That's so cool. Face off to the left of Listen. Schneid's going to take the draw here against Procession. 4:42 left here in the first period. Won by the Colts. Puck goes to the corner. Schneid trying to send this one around. Tied up there by Bronson Rye. Desiderio reaching for it, but Procession comes up with it. Passes it up to Laird. Laird reaching center ice. He's going to dump this one in. Harevik behind the net to play it. He's going to send this one around at the point. Barch fires, and that one's blocked. Barch is also dumped by Carter Lowe. Colts with possession. Desiderio through center. Desiderio sends this one around the boards. Comes up back at center ice. Puck's just bouncing back and forth there around the blue line. Bronson Rye gets this one out to center. Laird gets by Von Richter. Laird takes the shot. Stopped by Harevik. Puck's in the corner. Cronin tied up by Zabeski. Puck sent around. Kayshawn Aitchison lets Schneid go after it. Aitchison back to Schneid. Warren there trying to disrupt their pass. Puck goes behind the Barrie net. Here's Von Richter. Parker Von Richter off the glass and down the ice. Enright settles it down at center. Up ahead, Desiderio. He's going to dump this one in. Enright comes up there for North Bay. Passes it up to Moses. Shamar Moses had a stick lifted by Bodwin. Had his pocket picked. Bodwin, though, couldn't settle it down. Now it's Hanser carrying it in for the Colts. Justin Hanser, backhand pass, but Zabeski couldn't get there in time. North Bay moving it up. Vaughn at center ice. He's going to dump this one in. Hrebek stops it, sends this one off the end boards. Zabeski across for Hemming. Hemming, though, can't catch up to it. Moses finds it. He'll send this one back into the Barrie zone. Justin Hanser chips this one to the corner. Passmore's there for the Colts. Gets this one ahead. Cole Bodwin across, but Greer got a stick on it. And they're going to call this offside against the Barrie Colts with 2:57 still to go in the first period.
Well, Dylan Tomaskowitz probably going to be happy about the way the first period's gone for the Barrie Colts. He always talks about he's okay if it's 0-0 after one, because that means, or even like a shot total like this, 8-5, that means they were able to limit the chances to the opposing team. And Barrie, obviously, they get that first goal of Cole Bodwin, and they've shut North Bay down throughout the period so far. Only 5 shots on net on Ben Hrebek so far.
And it was a fast start to this hockey game. Cole Bodwin scoring in the opening 2 minutes of this hockey game. That was the first shot as well for the Barrie Colts as that puck sent deep into the North Bay zone. Manzo there to play it. He's going to send this one around. Eliason winds, and that goes wide of the net. Salandra back to Emerton. Emerton fires us towards the net. Ryder Callie's tied up. Salandra, loose puck, takes the shot, blocked in front by Manzo. Wilmot goes back to Eliason. Emerton gets it again. Wilmot, one-timer, stopped by Listen, as Ben Wilmot was using Ryder Callie for the screen.
Now the Colts picking up the pace again. Good puck movement there. Emerton and Eliason moving that puck around on the point and then across to Wilmot for a nice one-timer look. Ben Wilmot coming into this game, 4 goals in his last 4 games on a goal streak right now. Another one because he came in 4 goals in his first 4 there as well.
He's just been Mr. Consistent, and for Ben Wilmot, second in team scoring now, 22 goals, 30 assists for 52 points. A great addition there at the trade deadline from the London Knights. Face off to the left of Listen. Colts get to it. Carter Lowe trying to send it back to the point. That'll escape the zone. Eliason comes up with it for the Colts. He's going to dump it in. Around the boards it goes. Carter Lowe takes a bump there from Ride. Loose puck picked up by Schneid. Schneid behind the net. Takes the hit from Debratsev. Bromby can't get a stick on it. Bronson Ride will skate this one forward for North Bay. Across for Pronin. That got by him. Eliason backtracking in his own zone. Sends it over to Emerton. Emerton up the wing. Schneid tips this one in. So no icing. That goes behind the North Bay net. Ride sends this one around. Laird waits for it. That got by him. Pronin up ahead to Bronson Ride at center ice. Picked up by Debratsev. He'll send this one deep. Von Richter back to pick it up for the Colts behind his own net. Parker Von Richter. That pass goes off a skate. It's going to go back into the Barrie zone. Kayshawn Aitchison there to collect it. Aitchison behind his own net. He's going to take his time. Colts right now are completing a line change. Aitchison will now move it forward. Aitchison takes his time. Goes to Von Richter at center ice. Ahead for Salandra. Joe Salandra drops it back to Wilmot. Wilmot to Gardner. Gardner drawing back. Shot scores! What a tic-tac goal it was there! The finish is Joe Salandra, but my, oh my, what a pretty passing play.
Yeah, great work there by the Barrie Colts, and making it now a 2-0 game as the boos rain down here in North Bay. What a play as Salandra's the one that gets it into the zone. A beautiful drop pass across for Wilmot, who gets it ahead for Gardner, who is able to get it to the middle for that one-timer by Joe Salandra. 3rd in shots among all OHL rookies. The goal scoring hasn't always been there for him this season, but he plays good, consistent game every time it seems, and it's 2-0 now.
Well, we're waiting to see if the Battalion are going to challenge. The only thing I could think is, was it offside? But the way things are going now, the Battalion coming on the ice, so they're going to just keep it as is. So it's 2-0. Joe Salandra, his 8th goal of the season. But my, oh my, some pretty passing there. Wilmot Gardner to Salandra in the finish. 1:10 left to go here in this first period. Warren after it now for North Bay. He's going to go around the Colts net. Backhand pass to the point. There's the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. Puck comes back to the blue line. Gardner up to Hanser. Here's Salandra. He's going to carry it in for the Colts. Salandra has that one knocked to the corner. Round the net he goes. Joe Salandra in front to Gardner. That goes over his stick and down the ice. 48 seconds left in the period. Bronson Ride after the loose puck deep in the Barrie zone, battling with Hanser. Justin Hanser comes from behind the net. That pass blocked by Vaughn. Back behind the net, Moses takes a hard hit from Salandra. And then Vaughn goes after Gardner. Continues to battle. Puck's in the far corner in the Colts end. Evan Passmore with it. He'll send this one forward. Here's Ben Wilmot. Wilmot skates it in. Gets by Harper, but the puck's sitting there. Wilmot took a hit from Vaughn, but stayed on his skates. It's 17 seconds remaining in the period. North Bay with possession coming out of their zone. Moses puts that one across. No one there for North Bay. Sebeski up to Bodwin. That one off his skate. Callie skates this one in. 5 seconds left. Backhand stopped by Hrebeck. He'll play it. And that will do it for the first period as the Barrie Colts get off to a hot start, making it 1-0. And then Joe Salandra, with just a minute 15 remaining, makes it 2-0. But what a start to this hockey game for the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, a goal right away and then a goal late in the period as well. Colts felt like they were the better team all throughout that period. And same as last night, the shots are 10-6 for Barrie after the first period, a period that I think Dylan Smoskowitz is going to be pretty happy with. The Colts doing a good job there and getting the job done with a couple of nice goals there on Listen, and this is the second time in his career he's played in back-to-back games. I mentioned at the start, this is his sixth straight start. The start of this was a back-to-back in that second game against the London Knights. He stopped 22 of 24, so he is capable of playing in a back-to-back scenario, and it'll be interesting to see if he can get things going a bit more for North Bay down the stretch of this game as he stopped 8 of 10 there in the first.
Yeah, the Barrie Colts, it seemed like at the start of the first period, they were just putting on all the pressure, just making sure, that Listen was warmed up and ready to go for this game. And then as the period went on, we started to see more of that defensive game that we've been seeing much more from this Barrie Colts team, and then finishing it with a beautiful passing play with Joe Salandra in the finish.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job shutting things down there throughout the game. Not a lot of pressure throughout the period, not a lot of pressure from the North Bay Battalion at all there in that first period, and they'll look to continue that throughout the next two periods. And defense leading to offense. That's the mindset Dylan Smoskowitz wants this team to have down the stretch, and it's off to a pretty good start today.
Now, the one thing that is in the Barrie Colts' favor this year has been the goaltending. That's been the story, really, these last few seasons. Sam Hillebrand signed on as a free agent, playing junior C hockey with the Standard Siskins before coming up and just taking the league by storm. And then his backup was Ben Hrebeck. That was a question. Who would back up Hillebrand? Hrebeck was ready, and now we see him as one of the top goaltenders in the league. And now who's coming up next? It seems like it's Arvin Jaswal, following that same trajectory as Hillebrand and Hrebeck. And he had an outstanding game last night against the Battalion.
Yeah, another great game for Jaswal, who is undefeated since November 28th. He was amazing in the month of January, 5-0 with a .931 save percentage. And like you mentioned, over the years, the Barrie Colts, they have been developing some really good goaltenders as of late. Arvin Jaswal, Ben Hrebeck, the two latest ones, and they're kind of following the same trajectory as of late. You come into the league as the third string goalie. You're going to play junior A hockey for a bit to start your career. You're going to come up, maybe get a game or two throughout the season, and then you're going to come in next year and you're going to be the backup, and you're going to progress and progress and progress. And now Arvin Jaswal has been absolutely fantastic this season for the Barrie Colts, and that's going to allow them down the stretch. Ben Hrebeck's not going to have to start night after night after night. They're going to be able to put in Arvin Jaswal against some of these top opponents, playing a team like North Bay, which is a pretty good team, playing Kitchener, one of the best teams in the Western Conference. He did a good job there. So Arvin Jaswal's definitely proven to this team they can put him in whenever they need to, and that's going to be so key for them down the stretch.
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence no matter which goaltender is in net. So before the game, Josh had a chance to catch up with Arvin Jaswal to talk about his play and his recent success with the Barrie Colts.
Well, joined by Colts netminder Arvin Jaswal. Arvin, another big game for you last night, a big win as well. How'd you feel in that?
I felt great. I thought the team played really well. I thought we created a lot of scoring chances on them. D-zone, not the best, but I was able to, bail them out here and there. They were able to bail me out with a goal in the last minute or two, but overall felt very great.
Feels like with you guys, yourself and Ben Horebic, two really good goaltenders, but the D-corps is also really good. You're able to bail them out sometimes, and sometimes as well they're able to bail you guys out.
Yeah, no, I think the defense have done a great job, especially since the deadline, getting Parker Von Richter in the lineup. I think he's been a great addition, brings a lot of physical aspect to the game, and I think overall our defense have been great, and me and Horebi have been great as well. So I think it all comes together, and the whole team has been playing very good lately.
Now you have 4 shootout wins this season. That's double any other OHL goalie this season. What's kind of your mindset in a shootout that's helped you be so successful?
Yeah, I think when it comes to shootouts, a lot of goalies get very tense. The crowd's very tense as well. But I think the main thing with me, I just stay as calm as possible. Whether a puck goes in or not on the shootout, I always kind of just get in my own world, stretch, and just stay as calm as I can. And that's been able to be my success for me. So yeah.
What's your mindset on a day like this? You're not starting today, but obviously you got to be ready just in case after just having a game under 24 hours ago.
Yeah, no, I think just being as ready as possible, still doing all the warm-up with the team, still playing sewer with them, just kind of treating it like a game I am playing, because, you never know what can happen in a game, and just being as ready as possible is the most important thing.
Now you guys are on the road here in North Bay. It's a one-day trip. Do you prefer these shorter trips, or do you like a couple days in a hotel trip?
I think a couple days in a hotel do work a little bit better. I don't think anyone on the team got too much sleep last night. Definitely not 8 hours. But I think it is what it is. You can't really do anything about it. But we're just going to go out there and work hard.
Now for you guys, you have an opportunity to clinch a playoff spot today. I mean, it feels like you guys are pretty close, obviously, but is it kind of nice to get it as early as possible to get that weight lifted off your guys' shoulders?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is. But I don't think that's something the team's too worried about right now. We know that, that playoff spot, it's calling our name. But, we're going to go into this game just with a good mindset, and knowing that if we come out with a point, hopefully the 2 points, we'll be in that playoff spot, which will be awesome.
Now it's Super Bowl Sunday. Are you a football guy at all?
Yeah, I'm a huge football guy. I'm so excited to get back. Hopefully I don't miss too much of the game. Going to see some family to watch it with them, so hopefully I can make it back on time, at least for the second half.
What's your Super Bowl prediction?
I got to go with the Seahawks. I mean, they've just been a wagon all year, but hopefully it's a good game, hopefully.
Do you have a favorite team in the NFL, or are you players, or what's...
Honestly, I don't really have a favorite team. My dad's a huge Bills fan, so I guess I cheer for them whenever they're in playoffs. Sucks their season ended pretty early, but don't really have a team. Every Sunday I always throw it on, which is a lot of fun.
Arvin, thanks for doing this. Best of luck today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome back to the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens in North Bay, where the Barrie Colts right now have a 2-0 lead on the North Bay Battalion here at the first intermission. We do have the chat up and running, so if you want to join the conversation, I have noticed that the chat pretty active in that first period, so we'll catch up with some of those conversations to see how things are going. But before that, we've got some pretty important games taking place this afternoon around the Ontario Hockey League. So let's take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Yeah, and just a reminder with the chat as well, the super chat is available. So if you do want to donate, I am willing to go buy some food from downstairs in the second intermission if there is donations given. But let's focus on. I'll use my money. I'll use my money this time though, so it won't come out of your paycheck. Don't worry.
It'll come out of the group.
Anyways, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't know what the big thing here is in North Bay.
I don't know.
Because I've never actually heard about the concessions.
Well, how about whoever donates the money can decide what we have?
Okay, we'll do it that way.
Yeah.
Whatever the super comes up, we'll do that.
We'll do whatever you guys want. Anyways, the Brantford Bulldogs do have a 1-0 lead on the Kingston Frontenacs after the first period in a rematch from earlier this week. 2 goals for Sudbury in the first, including Henry Doucette, who we talked about in the first period. He gets a goal there. 2-0 Sudbury after the first. They're playing the Oshawa Generals. The Sioux Greyhounds with a pair of goals there. The Sioux starting to get more healthy. Brady Martin and Quinn McKenzie both in the lineup for them today. And neither of them get on the board, but it is the other Martin, Jeremy Martin, who we were talking about before the game, has been really good for them. And then another game getting underway in 10 minutes, the Owen Sound Attack and the Brantford Bulldogs in a big matchup for points when it comes to the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, that race in the Western Conference, because right now London has passed the Sioux Greyhounds for 4th right now in the Western Conference standing. So this is a good time for the Sioux to get healthy. Brady Martin, of course, injured during the World Juniors with Team Canada. So that's going to be a big benefit for them as they try and get home ice and close the gap over those top teams right now in the West Division. But we're going to go to the chat. I see Tammy saying, who do you guys think will win the football game? I don't watch football, but I think I watch it tonight since there's nothing on TV. And I think for our household, we're cheering for the Seattle Seahawks because the New England Patriots, it feels like they've won so many Super Bowls. Why not share the wealth a little bit?
Yeah, that would be nice. I think the same goes for my household. My dad's a Bills fan, so he doesn't like the Patriots, so he's got the Seahawks. Although my uncle is a 49ers fan, so I'm guessing he may be going the other way with the Patriots. But I am going for the Seahawks tonight. I love the story of Sam Darnold. That's just a feel-good story. He struggled through his first couple seasons in the NFL. Gets sent out to San Francisco where he's a backup, then moved to Minnesota where he's really good last year, but then he struggled in the big moments. So they say, well, we're going to give up on you too. We're going to move you out and we're going to go with J.J. McCarthy. And he goes to Seattle. And I think there was some hate in the offseason with that move. Some people kind of thinking, hey, Seattle not going to be that good this year. Trade Metcalf, get rid of Geno Smith, get rid of Lockett. Are they going to be able to do anything this year? And Sam Darnold's been fantastic during this playoff run, and it would be nice to see him win a Super Bowl and prove some of the doubters wrong.
Well, especially after Seattle and New England played each other for the Super Bowl not that long ago, and the Patriots ended up winning that. So it'd be kind of nice to see Seattle get the bounce back. Now, Liam saying, hockey's my one and only sport I watch, OHL and PWHL. I can't watch NHL for some reason. More sport in OHL and PWHL and international. So I do see where Liam is coming from, because for hockey fans, it seems to be that this is our winter sport. It's hard to follow along with other sports going on like the NFL, especially with the different rules. And I know that it can be a little slower pace when you compare hockey to football, but you can't go wrong with the OHL and PWHL. It's just the tough part is with the Olympics right now, we've got some withdrawal when it comes to no women's hockey and no men's hockey. It's just junior and the Olympics. So I hear where you're coming from, Liam. And,
Do you want me to go?
You go
sorry.
for it.
I was confused. I didn't know if I was.
And now you made the camera go fuzzy.
I'm sorry. Like you said though about the Olympics, I mean it's going to be fun to see best on best, but we got to wait a couple days. I believe they start on I want to say the 13th.
Is it Tuesday or is it Wednesday?
Tuesday, Wednesday. So we still got a couple days.
Still got some time
to wait and wait. It does drag out a bit, but then once they're back in the NHL later in this month, it's the stretch run begins towards the playoffs, similar to the OHL here. It's that time of year where hockey's picking up, and there's not much better than playoff hockey. Not much can beat that.
Well, seeing the Canadian women play Switzerland yesterday, I was just blown away by the shot difference. I think at the end of the second period, it was something like 40-5 or something to that effect. But just the women are doing such an amazing job. They're a powerhouse over at the Olympics, and it's going to be fascinating to see when Canada does cross paths with the U.S. Who's going to have that advantage over at the Worlds.
Yeah, and the international circuit for the women, it seemed like for as of right now, Canada and U.S. Those are the two countries that have really built up their organizations in growing the game of women's hockey. And so when it comes down to it at these tournaments, it's always seems to be Canada and the U.S. and everyone else is kind of fighting for third place. But as we've seen in the men's hockey over the years, some of these countries start to grow. We've seen Germany as of late, Czechia. They were good, struggled for a while. Now they're growing things back up, led by David Pasternak. And so, yeah, I think eventually, some of these other countries like Finland, like Sweden, like Switzerland are going to start to build, and that's going to make the women's circuit a lot more entertaining when it comes to the international side of things.
And then when it comes to the men's side for the Olympics, the amount of former OHL players that are going to be representing their countries over in Italy at Milan, it's going to be very impressive. And we just saw that all the leadership teams are now being announced for their groups. No surprise, Crosby, he's going to be the captain for Team Canada. And we also found out that Gabriel Landeskog, he's going to be the captain of Team Sweden, the former Kitchener Ranger.
Yeah, your guy.
Exactly. Like, I used to cover the Kitchener Rangers, so it was great to see Landeskog being recognized. But it's going to be fun just to see how this all plays out. And the Olympics is just a whole other animal.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch. It's been a while. 2014 would be the last one if I'm...
For the NHL?
The NHL. Does that sound right?
2014, because that'd be so
That's
cheap.
what I said.
I thought you said 2015.
No, 2014.
There you go. You're right.
I did get it right.
You did. You got it right.
I was in about grade 3.
Ow.
But
You just made me feel old.
yeah, watching the game in school. A little fun fact about us, I was born the same week Mike did his first OHL game.
Yeah, that made me feel really old. Back in 2007.
Yeah.
Man, why are you bringing that up again?
It kind of
It's what the people.
It's what the people want to hear.
Want.
And yeah, but I had some good memories. I remember that year, and of course, with the time change, I think the gold medal game was about 9 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, it was like daytime.
I remember waking up, having some McDonald's pancakes and hash browns while watching the gold medal game, which was a pretty fun memory. And yeah, I think Canada's first game is at 10:30 against Czechia, so may have to get some more McDonald's breakfast for that game. And
well, I know my son, he's been talking about that. He's like, how can I watch the game while I'm at school?
Oh.
So he was doing the camera work last night on Rogers.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah, and now he's trying to figure out, okay, how do I tune in to follow Team Canada? But it's going to be a ton of fun. And we're seeing Liam with a super with the $15 dessert funnel cake is a specialty there. So looks like we're going to get some dessert here.
I'll have to head down next intermission and see what we can get into.
So thank you, Liam, for your contribution. And yeah, I guess we're going to be doing funnel cake reviews. Gone from French fries to funnel
cakes. That's
Make sure you don't get any of it on the equipment.
I'll try not to. Okay, I do have to admit there was a little chili on my pants after the media room, but I was able to get it cleaned off.
Can't take you anywhere.
Oh, okay, Mr. Coffee.
That was back in November in Sudbury. I've done better.
You have. You got a little chili on the... But it's gone now, and
good. Now I'm gonna have to wait and see how you do with funnel cake.
Yeah,
thanks to Liam.
Yeah, thanks, Liam. I was expecting hot dog, popcorn, chips, something, and
we're doing funnel cake.
We're doing funnel cake. That'll be interesting to see, and take the cash down there. I may have to take your card too, just in case they don't accept cash.
We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But Liam, thank you very much for that. And we do have the players now coming on the ice. So we'll get ready now for the second period of play, and looking forward to that funnel cake.
Yeah, it's good. Let's fast forward.
Well, maybe they'll just let the time run.
Well, they got to understand. I mean, the Super Bowl,
starts at 6:30.
Starts at 6:30. Still got time, but the funnel cake.
I'm excited.
Oh, man.
I'm excited.
It's different.
So thank you, Liam.
Thank you, Liam.
We're getting ready now for the second period of play. 2-0 right now for the Barrie Colts. Cole Baudouin and Joe Salandra, your goal scorers this afternoon. as these two teams going back-to-back nights. Last night up down in Barrie, it was a shootout victory for the Barrie Colts, and then here this afternoon, Barrie just needs 1 point, and they clinch a playoff spot. Obviously, they want to get the 2 points, but they also want to keep up with Brantford and Ottawa at the top Eastern Conference standings. So we'll also keep an eye on that out-of-town scoreboard to see how the Brantford Bulldogs are doing. But right now, we are ready to go for the second period of play. Face-off at center, Bodwin taking the draw against Ethan Procession, the two captains. And we are underway. Face-off won by the Colts. Puck goes in the air, picked up by Wellenreiter. He'll send it forward. Kayshawn Aitchison. He'll dump this one down the ice. Bronson Ryan gets it at his own blue line. Here's Barch. Ahead, Wellenreiter tips this one deep into the Barrie zone. Aitchison back to play it. Trying to send that one around. It was blocked there by Procession. Aitchison up to Zabeski. Zabeski's pass blocked by Wellenreiter. Sends this one deep. Petrie from the near corner sends this one back to Wellenreiter. Puck's deflected, and Zabeski picks it up and gets it down the ice. Ends up back to the North Bay blue line. Here's Barch on the near side. Sends it forward. Wellenreiter tips this one into the zone, and that's going to go over the glass and out of play.
See Braden saying, making me hungry, Josh. Don't blame me. Why did I get the blame? Wait a minute. We were all talking about food.
Yeah, now we're all hungry. And I like how Liam says that we need to have the nitro to get back to back home for the Super Bowl party.
Speaking of food, what do you got going? What are those hot dogs again you were telling me about?
Well, traditionally for us, we like to make foods associated with the two teams playing. And for the Seahawks, it's Seattle hot dogs. So it's a hot dog with cream cheese and caramelized onions.
It's different, but it sounds pretty good.
I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I'm excited.
Wake up tomorrow morning with food poisoning.
I hope not. Puck's deep in the North Bay zone. Salandra has it in the far corner, trying to go back to the point. Picked off by Moses. Puck comes up the ice. Vaughn couldn't get there in time. Cut off there by Hanser. Puck goes back behind the Barrie net. Hanser trying to send this one around. Poked away by Moses. Vaughn Richter behind his own net. We'll set things up here for the Barrie Colts. Vaughn Richter to Wilmot. Ben Wilmot chips this one forward. Waiting for it is Salandra. Enters the zone. Salandra across to Gardner. Stop by Listen. Puck's in the slot. Picked up by Wilmot. Ben Wilmot back to Justin Hanser. Hanser waits. Doesn't take the shot. Puck's in the corner. Hanser trying to put it in front. Blocked by Enright. Goes around the net. Back at the point. Eliason. Back to Hanser. His shot goes wide of the net. That puck's going to sail out to the neutral zone, so the Colts are going to make a change. Eliason sends this one ahead. Tipped into the zone by Wilmot. Puck goes behind the net. Picked up by Greer. Colts right now completing a line change. Greer comes up with it inside the line. That pass deflected. Chasing after it here is Gervais. Gervais behind the Barrie net. That's knocked away from him. Schneid, he is dumped. A big hit there from Liram Amidovsky. Schneid back on his skates, ties up Amidovsky as they battle along the boards. Loose puck picked up by Eliason. He's going to go around the net, trying to go to low. Picked up by Amidovsky in front. Puck sitting there. Colts knock it to the side. Eliason up to Crombie. Crombie has that knocked off his stick by Gervais. Here's Cam Warren up the wing. Hits the brakes. Warren takes the hit there from low. Puck's out at center. Battalion dump it in. Knocked down there by Gabriel Eliason. Eliason sends it over. Long pass goes off low. Puck's bouncing between the blue lines. Emerton. His pass picked off by Amidovsky. He's got a lane trying to go to the backhand across. And not able to finish was Laird. Harebic out of position. Battalion can't take advantage. There's the shot. Stopped by Harebic. Amidovsky dropping it back to Laird. He'll go back to the blue line. Manzo to Harper on the near side. Harper waits. Puts that one wide of the net. Back behind the net to Bratzev. He's in a battle. Gives it up to Laird. Laird tied up there by Cole Emerton. Colts take it away. Crombie is knocked over by Pronin. Play continues as Lowe gets this one down the ice. That's going to go all the way back, and it's an icing call against Barrie as we're seeing the North Bay Battalion here step things up a bit.
Yeah, a couple good opportunities there for North Bay, and Colts trying to get it out. Emerton turns it over to Amidovsky coming through the middle. Does a nice job working around Eliason. Goes to Laird on the one-timer. Fans on that one, and then Eliason does a good job getting down beside that net, not letting Laird be able to have an easy wraparound opportunity there with Harebic down and out.
Face-off won by the Battalion. Puck comes back to the point. Barch sends this one around. Puck's in the corner. Emerton after it. Laird had his stick lifted. Carter Lowe can't get to it. Kept in by Barch. Barch knocks this one forward, but Schneid will get it out. Picked up by Pronin at center ice. This pass reaches to Broadsev. Sends it over to Laird. Laird to Pronin. One-timer deflected, and Harevic will cover it up. As getting a stick on it in front was Hayden Barch.
That Hayden Barch, the son of Ice Dogs head coach Chris Barch. And you kind of got the family trees going on here in the Central Division now. Lear Mamedovsky's brother Nathan just traded to the Brampton Steelheads, of course, of the Central Division. We've seen Amedovsky a couple times since then, and those two will meet up for the first time as division rivals on Thursday here.
Delayed penalty call coming against the Battalion as the puck goes down the ice. Picked up here by Passmore. That's deflected. Ride will touch it, and we'll get the call. I think it's going to be for a high stick. So the Barrie Colts, they're going to get their first power play of the hockey game.
That first power play for either team here comes 4 minutes into the second period as Nolan Laird going to the box. Getting the call here.
So it's a high stick there against Laird. This Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. Barrie Colts power play right now fourth in the OHL, operating at 25.6%. Well, the penalty kill for North Bay right now 16th at 75.6%. Face-off won by the Colts. Here's Cole Baudouin. Sends it down low to Hemming. Back to Baudouin at the point. Cole Baudouin looks to the net, down to Hemming, side of the goal, across into the blue paint. They jam at it. Puck's still loose. Italian get it, but they can't clear it. Baudouin keeps it at the blue line. Goes to Von Richter. That pass doesn't reach Aitchison as Bronson Ride's going to go for a skate. Ride passes it across. Here's Procession, shorthanded. His shot deflected out of play. And we'll get the whistle as that pass just off target and North Bay nearly taking advantage.
Saw last night on that game-tying goal on the power play for the Colts from Ben Wilmot. It felt like the Battalion were kind of just okay with letting him sit in front of the net without anyone on him, and it cost them. But you saw there, Bronson Ride was all over him, not letting Wilmot get free out front.
Battalion win the face-off, ends up in the neutral zone, trying to take more time off this power play, which is down to 1:22. Parker Von Richter in his own zone. Reaches the blue line, carries this up through center. He'll flip this one to the corner. Von Richter after it himself. Hits the brakes, takes a hit there from Petrie, goes to Aitchison. Battle in the corner. Wilmot goes behind the North Bay net. Passes this one back to Baudouin. Cole Baudouin back to the line, Von Richter. Baudouin gets it again, down to Hemming. Hemming at the side of the net. Baudouin, one-timer, that's blocked. Greer was in the way. Von Richter down low, but that's picked off by Ride. And the Battalion get it out once again. 44 seconds left in the power play here for the Colts. They're trying to catch North Bay on the line change, but that's going to be deflected down the ice. Manzo gets to it first. He'll send this one right back, return to sender. As Harevic will start it off again behind his own net. Leaves it for Emerton. Cole Emerton picks up momentum through the neutral zone. Emerton still with it. Puck rolled on him. Manzo will take him into the boards. Gardner gets it free. Back to Crombie. Cross ice feeds to Landra. Takes the shot. Enright was in the way. Puck's at the side of the net. Listen doesn't cover it up. Enright comes up with it. He'll send it to the line, but not out. Kept in by Gardner. Gardner sends this one forward. Loose puck picked up by Salandra. Joe Salandra on the far side. Across Gardner. One-timer. And that one stays out. Listen just got enough of it. Power play has come to an end. The puck rolls on net. And Jack Listen will cover it up. But that last shot from Brad Gardner nearly handcuffed Listen.
Oh, what a chance there. The Colts overage forward. Nice one-timer. And like you said, Listen barely getting enough of that one. Nearly deflected off his glove and in, but it goes over top and away from the net. Colts had some good movement there on that power play. Dylan Smoskowitz talking to the officials about something right now.
Well, I think there's some confusion because they should be taking the TV timeout. Because we've now hit 6 minutes.
Everyone came, and now they're going back.
Well, the crew was about to come on the ice, and
they didn't. I don't think the TV's still on, so they never went to break.
Yeah, there was never the horn from the timekeeper's bench.
Oh, man.
So just a little confusion here at Memorial Gardens.
We went early. Where were we, though? We went early. Was that Flint?
Yeah, that may have been Flint. Either way, play continues. Face off to the left to Listen. Won by the Battalion. Laird has it along the boards. He's going to get this one down the ice. That's rolling, and that's going to be icing. And we'll bring this face-off back. And now it's the TV timeout, which I still don't think is right on an icing call. We talked about this in
Yeah.
Brampton Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of takes away the entire point of the icing.
The battalion
Because now the battalion players, they
can rest.
They can rest. And, you know, people might think, oh, that's not too big of a deal. But sometimes late in the game, that, you know, you get a play that goes from 6:05 left in the third all the way down to just over a minute left, and they take that TV timeout with the icing. That's a big moment in that game where maybe the battalion player's been stuck out there for a minute or two, and then the icing happens, they go to break, they get a rest, which obviously with a minute left, you don't want that happening.
Well, you see it in the National Hockey League. They don't allow TV timeouts on icings. So I think if the NHL is doing it that way, and they have 3 TV timeouts per period, I think it makes sense for the OHL to also adopt that similar strategy.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea, but we'll have to see if it happens in the future. In the NHL as well, they have 3 TV timeouts in a period, so it may be more inclined to have more reasons to stop the TV timeout, but they actually have less.
I think if Brian Crawford is ever at a game that we're at, we should get him on and ask him these questions.
Yeah, we have a lot of ideas.
We have some ideas we'd like to share. Face-off won by the Battalion. Harper has it along the boards. He's tied up. Trying to send it to Wellenreiter, blocked by Newton. Puck goes back to the corner. Here's Manzo. Battling there with Schneid. Manzo's going to try the other way. Fan on the pass attempt. Now it's on the far side to Harper. Colts keep it in. Newton puts it wide of the net. Desiderio after it in the corner. He's tied up by Harper. Schneid back to Vader. Teague Vader. He'll send this one around. Jaden Newton gives chase. Newton. Here's a big collision. Passmore ran over Laird. That's going to be a penalty. As the Colts touch it up, we'll get the call. As I believe it's going to be Evan Passmore heading off, and they're going to call this a charge.
Yeah, Laird's slow to get up. The trainer going to come out here. And yeah, hard hit from behind. He goes right into the back of Jaden Newton. Obviously a tough one there. And North Bay going to get a power play here, trying to turn this game around, make it a 1-goal game.
Well, nothing's been posted on the board here. The officials right now having a conversation. Our referees, Mitchell Hardy and Kyle Whiteman. And I think they're just going to call it for 2 minutes. But the North Bay Battalion, they're going to get their first power play of the hockey game.
Just looking out of town, the Frontenacs have tied that game up with Brantford at 1. So it looks like we'll be score watching all afternoon here during this game.
And of course, the 67s, they're about to start their game too against the Owen Sound Attack. So a couple of important games happening around the OHL that's going to impact the Eastern Conference. And for North Bay, their first power play, they're right now 15th overall at 18.4%. Well, the penalty kill for Barrie now up to 9th at 79.9% as the Colts quickly get this one down the ice. Back behind his own net, that's Kent Greer. Greer dropping this one back to Warren. Cam Warren with speed through center. He'll pass this one across. Ryder Cali to Gervais. Gervais back to Greer. Amidovsky at the near point. Liam Amidovsky goes back to Greer. Greer across. Warren has that one bounce on him. Passes this one over to Cali. Ryder Cali from the half boards. Passes this one across. Trying to go back to Warren. Here's Greer again. Warren skates it down low side of the net. They jam at it. Stopped by Horebic. Von Richter gets on it. He's just going to clear this one down the ice. 1:12 left in the power play here for North Bay. Battalion set up behind their own net. That's Kent Greer. Greer passes this one over. Cali got it off the boards, forces his way into the attacking zone. Cali hits the brakes, sends this one back to Greer at the point. Greer takes the shot, deflected. That goes wide of the net. Precision puts it in front, but no one there for the Battalion. Brad Gardner is going to put this one down the length of the ice. Power play now down to 46 seconds. Listen leaves it behind the net. Here's Brad Gardner taking it away from Greer. Gardner's just going to send this back to the neutral zone for Hanser, taking more time off this Battalion power play. Lowe sends this back into the North Bay zone. Greer to Vaughn. Parker Vaughn through the neutral zone. He'll skate this one in, sends it around the boards. Far side Petrie. Caden Petrie sends it back to Wellenreiter. Here's Vaughn.
Vaughn takes the shot. Score. Vaughn. The North Bay Battalion take advantage of the power play, and it's now 2-1.
Parker Vaughn had a good month of January, 8 points in 12 games, and then added a goal in the first game of February the other night against the Windsor Spitfires, and saw him getting physical in the first, and he gets a goal here. Able to step up, screened out front by Procession. Was Herebic, and Vaughn's able to find the back of the net, blocker side, and this game getting a bit more interesting now. 1-goal game. Mason Zaveski talking to the official right now about something.
Well, for Parker Vaughn, the former Barrie Colt, now 12 goals on the season. So we'll see if this can spark the battalion as they're now down by what? 11:23 left in the second period. Colts down low. Zabeski backhand goes wide of the net. Ben Wilmot picks it up for the Colts. Down low for Crombie. Crombie from the corner, surrounded by green sweaters, trying to move this one around. Wilmot sends this one down low. Zabeski trying to move it. Moses loses it to Crombie. In front of low. Wilmot backhand scores! Ben Wilmot, what a play! Extends his goal-scoring streak to 5 games. It's now 3-1, but now Bronson Ride took a run at Zabeski, and Wilmot responds. He drops the glove, stepping up for his teammate. So now we get some extracurriculars after the Barrie Colts extended their lead. We've got Zabeski at the blue line mixing it up with Evgeny Debratsev. So we'll get some penalties out of this as Bronson Ride showing his frustrations.
Oh, Ben Wilmot gets able to escape there from the officials and the ride and able to head off for his celebration there. Emerton still going at it here with Barge. Right now, Bronson Ride's in the box. Zabeski looks like he's the one that's going to join him. Looks like 2 in the box now for North Bay. So maybe the Colts potentially getting a power play out of this one. I think Ride hit Zabeski out front, and then from there, we'll actually get a better angle here on the replay. Yeah, chop there from Ride on Zabeski as he was coming through the middle. Wilmot came over after celebrating, give him a piece of his mind. Procession now over at the Colts bench, and Wilmot went over. Ride tried to fight him, and Crombie got involved there. Oh, he wanted his stick.
There's a battalion player stick that went on the Colts bench.
Crombie looked like he was using his stick to keep Procession away.
Procession was just trying to get the stick. I don't know if it belongs. It must be Bronson Ride's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Ride's stick. Somehow ended up on the Barrie Colts bench.
Accidentally on purpose?
Potentially here.
Well, Wilmot's going to come over and get a penalty, it looks like maybe as well. So,
oh, and they're bringing out the tablet, so they're going to take a look at something here.
It's Ride's penalty. It's got 5 up on the board right now.
So Bronson Ride may be looking at a major, and he's pretty frustrated here this afternoon. We saw in the first period where he was, mixing it up a bit. Even last night where he dropped the gloves, so he got involved in a tilt that was short-lived.
Yeah, it's laid a big hit on Baudouin in the first period, and then got into it there after the play. And with Von Richter, he almost went after, ended up in a fight with Von Richter, but now he's in the box after that play and might be for a slash or a spear. That play was kind of hard to see fully where he made contact. Kind of surprised Zabeski is one of the Colts in the box here. He kind of just came in at the end and shoved around a bit. Kind of figured maybe if you're taking 2, it'd be Wilmot and Crombie.
Well, they're having a long look at this replay, so we'll have to wait and see how this is going to play out. But as you mentioned, Bronson Ride right now has the 5-minute major next to his number. So they're going to review it, and we'll see if his night's done.
Big turning point in this game. If it's a 5-minute power play, Barrie North Bay makes it a 1-goal game, and then the Colts quickly able to respond there, make it 3-1, and all of a sudden could be down shorthanded for 5 minutes.
Well, that goal coming so fast in response to the goal from Parker Vaughn. He scored on the power play for the North Bay Battalion to make it 2-1, and then The quick response, Ben Wilmot, that was a fantastic goal.
That was a really nice backhander out in front. Kind of gets lost in the conversation there with all the rough stuff that happened after, but a really nice play for Wilmot. Now goals in 5 straight for him. Now Dylan Smoskowitz talked about it the other night, how he kind of just adds another element to that second line for the Barrie Colts. And obviously he wasn't taken off the first line because of performance, because he was scoring there, but now he's on the second line and still scoring.
So just trying to get a look at what happened. We've got a screen here. It looks like maybe a spear. So that right now the headset is off, the door is open, and Bronson Ride is heading off. So one of the replays I'm seeing on a laptop in front of us, it looks like it may have been a spear.
He definitely chopped him down low. We couldn't tell from far away. There's a couple TV screens up ahead of us for the fans that can't see the Jumbotron, and you could see him get him with the stick, but couldn't tell where. But
it looked like it was down low on Mason Zabeski, but he seems to be okay. He's right now in the penalty box, though, with Ben Wilmot. So it's just Debratsev by himself in the North Bay box, so they'll probably have to send somebody over, or they can wait with this 5-minute major. As right now the referee having a conversation with head coach Ryan Oulahan of the North Bay Battalion.
So what's the rule there? If they don't send someone over and then somehow it's unlikely to happen, but the 5 minutes goes.
I've seen it happen before where a team chose not to send someone in the box because they figured there'd be another whistle. But if there's no one in the box to come out, then you're still shorthanded until that next whistle. Because you can't just add another player. Because that player has to come out of the penalty box. But we'll see what happens here. So it is going to be a Barrie Colts power play out of this after they just made it 3-1. So because of Bronson Ride going after Zabeski after the goal scored, we'll get another man advantage. So this Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. So serving the penalty here for the North Bay Battalion will be Arnsey Pronin. He's going to be in the box for Bronson Ride.
We saw that in Flint, the Colts deciding to, obviously they had the virtue of the fact that the game would have gone to overtime, and it ended up going to overtime. So they wait, and then they're able to get Hemming in there with 40 seconds left, and then he was well rested for that eventual overtime winner.
So this is the second power play of the afternoon for the Barrie Colts. They are coming out of their zone. That's Cole Beaudoin. He's going to dump it in. That goes back behind the North Bay net. Beaudoin trying to send it around. It's in the skates of Enright. Beaudoin back to the line. Von Richter. Here's Cole Beaudoin. Beaudoin waits. Fires. Stopped by Listen. It was loose for a moment. But the North Bay goaltender able to pounce on it as we still have 4:32 to work with on this power play.
One aspect to note, though, as well, Zabeski and Wilmot both a part of the Colts power play. Wilmot's been playing with Beaudoin and Hemming as of late on the power play, so Carter Lowe out there with this top unit. We'll have to see who goes out there on the second unit for Colts. You'll have Gardner, Salandra, and Emerton for sure, and we'll see from there.
So face off to the right of Jack Listen. Beaudoin taking the draw up against Ryder Cali. Face off won by the Battalion. Puck goes to the corner. Greer sent it behind the net. Carter Lowe is there. Battalion gets the line and out. That bounces over the stick of Aitchison. Horebek's going to come out of his net to play it. Von Richter back. And as Cali was putting on pressure, there's a turnover. Parker Vaughn shorthand. There's a shot stopped by Horebek. Rebound, wrap around. That stays out. What a save by Horebek. It was actually Gervais with those chances for the North Bay Battalion. Von Richter back in his own zone. Goes back to Beaudoin. We've now reached the midway point of this hockey game. The Barrie Colts up 3-1 right now on a major power play with Bronson Ride going off. Carter Lowe up to Beaudoin. Puts that one off the end boards. Hemming back to Aitchison, but that doesn't connect, and that's going to sail down the ice.
Amidowski heading off, holding his face. Not sure if caught a shot there from Beaudoin as he was coming around the net.
Emerton dropping this one back to Salandra. Joe Salandra makes his move through center. So they're just announcing the penalties here. So it is a spearing call against Bronson Ride. So that's the 5-minute major. Battalion able to get this one down the length of the ice. The power play now down to 3:20 for the Barrie Colts. Emerton comes out from behind the net. Passes this one forward to Salandra. Here's Calvin Crombie. Up to Gardner. He's going to send this one around. Newton on the far side. Jaden Newton trying to get it down low. Puck comes in at the point by Emerton. Here's Brad Gardner. Gardner down to Crombie. Calvin Crombie. Back to Gardner, side of the net. Gardner in front, passes it. Crombie hacks at it, hits the side of the net. Great chance there for the Colts to extend the lead. Newton has it again for the Colts. Jaden Newton back to Gardner. Gardner sets up Emerton. Back to Gardner. Gardner's shot blocked there by Barch. Puck goes the far side. Salandra to Emerton. Quickly to Gardner. Into the slot. Crombie, but the puck rolled on him. And the Battalion will get it out. Harebic, long stretch pass up to Gardner. Colts are making a line change. Here's Gardner inside the line. Goes across. Here's Carter Lowe. Lowe. Down low to Aitchison. Aitchison side of the net. Takes the shot. Listen the save, but the net comes off as Jack Listen was coming across to make that save.
Well, good job so far from the Battalion as they've been able to kill off the first sequence here of this power play. Only 2:21 left. All the players except for Peronin now out of the box, so the Colts are able to get Wilmot out there here with the top unit. North Bay's done a good job so far, and if they could ever get out of the next 2:21 and try and ride that momentum, get a couple goals.
This is a big turning point for the hockey game for the North Bay Battalion. So the Colts right now out shooting North Bay 17-13. Face off to the right of Listen, won by the Colts. Von Richter has it at the point. Goes to Baudouin. Baudouin down low to Hemming. Hemming puts it across. No one there for the Barrie. Aitchison at the point. Goes to Baudouin. Cole Baudouin sets up Von Richter. Back to Baudouin. Cross to Aitchison. Von Richter one-timer, and that goes wide of the net. Puck's bouncing in the corner. Hemming trying to play it back to Baudouin. Baudouin after it in a battle with Moses. Puck comes around to Wellenreiter. Wellenreiter avoids the hit from Aitchison, and North Bay will get it out. Carrying it forward is Shamar Moses, shorthanded. Moses' shot goes over the net. Von Richter after it. He takes the hit. Wilmot out there for the Colts. Goes back to Hemming. Emil Hemming. He'll skate this one forward. Reaches center ice. Hemming had that one knocked by Petrie. Petrie loses his stick. Aitchison puts it towards the net. Picked up there by Greer and sent down the ice. 1:28 left in the power play for the Barrie Colts. Von Richter comes out from behind the net. Facing pressure there from Ethan Procession. Von Richter drops it back to Hemming. Emil Hemming to Baudouin. Cole Baudouin skates this one in, sends it in to the zone. Baudouin around the boards to Hemming. Zabeski will collect it. At the blue line, Von Richter nearly lost it. Goes back to Zabeski. Cross-ice feed to Cole Baudouin. Baudouin takes the shots, and that misses the net. At the blue line, that's Joe Salandra. Sets up Baudouin again at the near point. Baudouin to Hemming. Puck bounced on him. Back to Baudouin. Fans on his pass attempt. He's trying to go back to Hemming, but instead the Battalion will clear it out. Rabbit came out of his net to play it, but wasn't able to get to it as the puck ends up in the corner. 42 seconds left in this man advantage. Parker Von Richter dropping it back to Calvin Crombie. Crombie will go for a skate, reaches center ice. Crombie carrying this one in, ends up in the corner, takes the hit from Gervais. Salandra over to Zabeski. At the blue line, Emerton. Cole Emerton to Gardner. Back to Emerton. Emerton takes the shot side of the net. Loose puck. Gardner couldn't get there. Emerton gets in at the blue line again to Salandra. Salandra down low, side of the net. Zabeski stopped by Listen, and Jack Listen able to pounce on that as Mason Zabeski had a great chance at the side of the net.
Yeah, a couple nice looks there for Zabeski, and then, of course, with him at the side of the net there, you're going to get a scrum afterwards, but North Bay 12 seconds away from killing this off, and for the Colts, it kind of felt like a power play where you get even just the goal, that puts you in a really good spot. You're up by 3, but unable to capitalize here.
So face off now to the right of Jack Listen. Jaden Newton's going to take the draw here up against Evgeny Debratsev. Colts get it at the point. Eliason winds up, and that goes into the glove of Listen. And we'll do this face off over again. And that's one player I'm surprised we don't see more of those shots from the point from is Gabriel Eliason.
Well, he's got that big frame. If he's ever able to unleash a shot, a one-timer like that, it's going to have some power to it. Something you definitely love to see him work on throughout the rest of the year and then into the offseason.
Face-off won by the Colts. They're going to send this one around the boards. Desiderio behind the North Bay net, taken away by Manzo. And the power play has come to an end. So Barrie not able to capitalize on that 5-minute major to ride. Colts, though, keep it in the offensive end. Eliason, though, not able to get there at the point, so the puck will come back. Eliason in his own zone, facing pressure there from Debratsev. Desiderio chips that one in the North Bay zone, but that's short-lived. Eliason had a piece of it. 3-on-1 here for North Bay. Shot, stop, rebound, and Cronin couldn't get there in time. Now the Colts come back the other way. Gabriel Eliason's going to lead the charge. Puck goes into the North Bay zone. He's going to send it around. And right, back behind his own net. Gives it back to Manzo. Manzo up to Amidovsky. Liram Amidovsky across to Debratsev. Debratsev looks back, sets up Amidovsky. There's the shot, stopped by Horevic. Puck goes to the corner. Amidovsky, pass it back to Enright. Around the boards it goes. Debratsev couldn't get a stick on it. Harper back to Debratsev. He'll come back to the line. Evgeny Debratsev waits. Hanser, though, took that one away. Amidovsky hitting the boards. Cronin trying to get a stick on it. Debratsev shot blocked by Eliason. Salandra's going to flip this one down the ice. Enright gets it at his own blue line. Under 5 minutes remaining now in the second period. Still 3-1 for the Colts, and that's going to be offside against the North Bay Battalion.
Well, 3-1 for Barrie here in the late moments of the second, and putting themselves in a good spot as of right now. Obviously, disappointing not to get a goal there on the power play. I'm kind of surprised. Normally, when you 5-minute penalty kill when you're the team at home and you kill it off, there's a lot of energy in the crowd, but there wasn't much during that penalty kill from the crowd here in North Bay.
Yeah, you kind of get that sense of nervousness with the crowd here in North Bay. It's a decent crowd here tonight at the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens, and I don't know if it's just me, but it seems brighter here. I don't know if they've updated the lightings.
They might have.
Because usually it seems like there's a yellow.
Yeah, there's a yellowish look to the ice, but not today. It looks nice and white, like you want your ice to be, and
it helps. But I don't know. It just seems brighter here this afternoon. So well done, North Bay.
Good job, guys.
There. 4:46 left to go in the second period, and we're still doing that funnel cake trial, right?
Yep.
All right.
Were you worried?
A little bit. I'm excited to try some funnel cake. I just hope the line isn't that long
I
for
hope
you.
there's no line. I hope there's funnel cake, and
Yeah.
off we go.
And that's thanks to our friend Liam with the super during the first intermission. Now, that's going to be an icing call against the Barrie Colts. They're going to bring this face-off back. Now 4:38 to go.
Of course, if you want to tribute any more super chats, we'll try some more things down the stretch run. Hope and Gene can be there in Ottawa next weekend, and we'll have all three of us together there, and we can all do a taste test together of something.
Yeah, that's going to be the Family Day weekend. We're going to be at TD Arena up in Ottawa. That's going to be a huge matchup on the Monday between the Colts and the 67s. We're going to have the radio broadcast for you here on the channel. That's a 3 o'clock start in Ottawa. So we'll have the live stream underway at 2:45. Puck's deep in the Barrie zone. Emerton ahead for Salandra. He's going to get it out. Doesn't go too far as he's dumped by Moses. Colts pick it up at center ice. Wilmot's going to dump it in. Ends up back behind the net. Wilmot after it. Gardner sends this one around. Emerton dropping it back to Salandra. Joe Salandra to Vader. Vader shot into the crowd. Blocked by Enright. Teague Vader trying to knock that one across, but it's taken away by Parker Vaughn. Over to Moses. Moses passes this one up. Colts pick it up. Gardner at center. Sets up Salandra. Over to Wilmot. Wilmot to Salandra, but can't connect. Moses after the loose puck. Puts it off the glass. Trying to get this one out. He will. Parker Vaughn collects it. Up to Von Richter. Taken away there by Warren. Warren loses it to Aitchison. Kayshawn Aitchison. He's going to go for a skate. Reaches center ice. Aitchison into the attacking zone. Passes it over to Bodwin. Stopped by Listen. Warren gets this one ahead to Petrie. Caden Petrie is going to dump it in. Horevic out of his net. That gets by him. Zabeski. He'll take a hit there in the corner. Trying to play it there is Wellenreiter. Battling there with Zabeski. Wellenreiter gets the handle of it. Aitchison knocks that one off his stick. Zabeski battling now with Procession in that far corner. Continue to dig for it. Von Richter. That's taken away by Petrie. Goes around the Barrie net. At the blue line for Barch, and now we're going to get a whistle here. There's going to be a slashing penalty. I believe this is going against the North Bay Battalion, as North Bay had possession of the puck, so it's Nick Wellenreiter heading off for the slash.
There's the Battalion fans.
Now they're vocal.
Now they're getting vocal. Not happy with that call. Obviously, not a penalty you want to take if you're Wellenreiter. You're controlling the play. You're in the zone, and you take a penalty like that. Now Barrie can come back the other way and make it a 3-goal game.
Well, the Colts, they weren't able to take advantage of the 5-minute major when Ride was sent off for spearing. So we'll see what they can do here with this latest power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. Face off one by the Colts. Down low Zabeski. Zabeski trying to put it in front, ends up behind the net. Zabeski after it, taken away by Enright, and the Battalion will send it down the length of the ice. That's going to go back, so Cole Emerton will set things up. Still a minute 42 to work with on the man advantage. Emerton reaching center ice, passes it over to Gardner. Gardner inside the line, puts this one over to Zabeski. Zabeski after it. He's tied up by Enright. Colts with it. Here's Emerton at the line. Cole Emerton goes over to Salandra. Salandra down low. Zabeski in front, but that's taken away by Greer. But now we're going to get a whistle as the net once again came off behind Jack Lisson. So a bit of a delay. So we'll bring this face-off still down in the North Bay zone with 1:22 left in the power play.
Sorry, Mike. I'm just
Are you distracted by the food?
no. I dessert funnel cake routine. That's what they have here.
Are you going to have to go down early to get it?
What?
Are you going to have to go down early to get it?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll. How about when the buzzer goes, I'll go and
You'll run away and I'll close things up
you'll
here.
wrap things up.
All
yeah.
right, we'll do that.
Do you want chocolate or strawberry?
Oh, no. I'm going to leave it to your discretion unless someone in the chat wants to
Okay,
pipe in.
I'm going chocolate. I'm not a big strawberry.
You're not a strawberry
I'm
guy.
not a strawberry guy, so I'll go chocolate. But if the chat wants to choose what Mike can have, so we have a team's heading over for discussion after the
Well, they got
net
it.
was taken off.
It looks like they need the arena crew to come out to
Oh,
fix
no.
the net. So here comes the drill bit. So everyone could cheer on this gentleman who's going to have to do the entire length of the ice to go and fix this net on the far side.
This is my moment.
No pressure. You know, everyone's just watching,
Don't hit a pipe.
bringing back memories from Barrie.
Oh man.
So the Barrie Colts are on the power play, just waiting for the net to get fixed here behind Jack Lisson. So it's a minute 22 left in the man advantage, 2:29 remaining in the second period. The Barrie Colts right now up 3-1. Your goal scorers this afternoon, Colt Baudouin, Joe Salandra, and Ben Wilmot. And then for the North Bay Battalion, Parker Vaughn, the lone goal scorer so far.
Yeah, it's been a good game so far. Barrie's been able to hold North Bay to only 15 shots so far through first 38 minutes of this one, and taking a lead into the third period where they've been so strong throughout this last little bit.
So face off to the right of Lisson. Baudouin there to take the draw. He'll send this one back to Von Richter. Von Richter ahead for Emil Hemming. And Wright comes up with it for the Battalion, and he's just going to send this down the length of the ice. That goes on net. Hrevik guides it to the corner. Parker Von Richter up to Cole Baudouin. Baudouin skating through center, goes to Wilmot, back to Baudouin. Baudouin peels back. Cole Baudouin at the blue line, goes to Von Richter. Down to Hemming, back to Baudouin. Baudouin takes his time. Back to Von Richter, but that puck rolled on him. That'll escape the zone. 48 seconds left in the man advantage here for the Barrie Colts. Baudouin facing pressure there from Gervais. Colts still with it. Wilmot up ahead. Baudouin tips it over to Aitchison. He's trying to catch up to it. Enright gets in his way. Hemming fans on it. Baudouin to the corner. Sends this one behind the net. Battalion collect it, and Greer is going to move it up. Greer up the wing, taking more time off this Barrie power play. Hrevik, long pass up to Wilmot. Wilmot puts this one over to Aitchison. Aitchison backtracking to the net. Baudouin diving, takes the shot, stopped by Lisson. What an opportunity there for Cole Baudouin. Von Richter at the point, down to Hemming. That's out of his reach. Puck's in the corner. Petrie can't get to it. Wilmot keeps it at the blue line. Knocked down by Petrie. Hemming comes up with it. Power play has expired. In front, Aitchison trying to settle it down. The puck's bouncing, and the Battalion will get it out. Here's a 2-on-1 now. Caden Petrie, Wellenreiter. Wellenreiter shot stopped by Hrevik. As the Battalion get a decent rush, but Ben Hrevik making one of his bigger stops of the afternoon.
Yeah, Petrie was able to get skating there very quickly. Wilmot couldn't catch up to him, set up that 2-on-1. Maybe passed it a bit too quick, gave Horebic a bit too much time there to slide across and make the save. Made it look pretty easy, Ben Horebic did.
55.8 seconds left in the period. Face-off now to the left of Horebic as the Colts now 0 for 3 on the power play. Face-off won by Barrie. Colts get this one out to center ice. Harper sends this one over. Puck's bouncing. Hanser across to Lowe. Lowe enters the attacking zone here. Trying to go to Schneid. Across to Bratsev. Gets this one out. Evan Passmore after it for the Colts. Up to Hanser. Hanser to Schneid. William Schneid from his knees goes to Carter Lowe. He's got some momentum. Lowe to the corner in front. But listen, had the paddle down and he's able to cover it up as we're now down to 27 seconds remaining.
Not to go off topic, Mike, can you pass me your cards just in case there's no cash?
This is what it's come to. You're just eager to get the
Well, no, but I just
funnel cake.
I want to be back as quickly as possible.
This is true. I get it. I get it.
You know, I felt bad for you the other night. You know, even last night, you know, I had to go down a minute early to do the interviews, and you had to fill some time there as well.
It's just, it comes with the job description.
Yep.
You got to cover for Josh in these crucial moments.
For Josh. Blame Josh.
Yeah. Puck comes back for
moments.
It is crucial moments.
The funnel cake.
Here comes Amidovsky, passing this one forward to Debratsev. 16 seconds remaining. Salandra can't get it out. Blocked by Debratsev. Puck ends up behind the net. Here's Amidovsky. Josh is also running away. Here's Barch at the point. Up to Amidovsky. Amidovsky's at 3 seconds. His shot blocked there by Crombie. Amidovsky fires and scores, but we'll have to wait and see. I think the buzzer may have gone off first. But if this is a good goal, this is going to be a huge turning point for the North Bay Battalion. So the referee pointed at the net saying it's a good goal, but we'll have to wait and see. Did the puck cross the line before or after the buzzer? And everyone in the arena was yelling at Liam Amidovsky to shoot the puck from the point. And it looked like I thought I heard the buzzer before it was in the corner of the net, but we'll have to wait and see. The officials are right now at the timekeeper's bench having a discussion. Both teams are on the bench. Actually, the Barrie Colts are heading down the tunnel. So I'm thinking the Barrie Colts are expecting this to be no goal as the players are all just going down the tunnel, and Dylan Smoskowitz calling over Ben Horebic. So they're going to have a look at this. They're still conversing at the timekeeper's bench. Cole Baudouin, he's on the ice waiting for instructions from the official. So there's a bit of a hum here at the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens, waiting to see if this is a good goal. They're now going on the tablet. So it's under review to see if this puck actually crossed the line before the buzzer. So right now they're saying it's a good goal, but it will come down. They're going to have the overhead angle, I'm sure, with the clock. So they'll be able to see exactly when did the puck cross the line. I haven't been able to see a replay myself, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm looking down press row. I can see Connor, the video coach. He's still up here. But we'll have to wait and see. It all comes down to when did that puck cross the line? Was it before or after time had expired? So the linesman looking at the tablet, having a long look at this. Most of the Barrie Colt players have already headed to the locker room. I guess that's the confidence that they're thinking that this should be no goal and that time had expired. It must be close. If they're taking this long to review it, it must have been pretty close for the timing. So we're still just waiting here for the final decision, as this would be a huge moment for the North Bay Battalion. You end the second period within one goal, or it's going to remain 3-1. But man, oh man, what a long review. I don't have access to a replay, so I have no idea how close this is. So now we've got the tablet put away, and the referee's going to say no goal. So the puck crossed the line after the buzzer, so it remains a 3-1 hockey game. So we'll take that off the scoreboard. So that was close. Very close there for the North Bay Battalion to getting within one. Man, oh man, what a hockey game this has been so far. The Barrie Colts up by 2 goals and nearly a 3-2 hockey game as Lear Mamedowski fired that one from the point. So close to seeing this a 3-2 hockey game. But good news is that Josh has had some extra time to get that funnel cake. So we'll see how that review goes as we'll do that review when he gets back up here. But before that, we will have Terry Doyle with the OHL news just to keep us entertained here in the second intermission. But it's been an entertaining one overall. Remember, if the Barrie Colts get 1 point this afternoon, they will clinch a playoff spot for the 2026 postseason. So this is a crucial moment for this hockey game, and we'll see what's in store coming up. But in the meantime, let's head over to the OHL news with Terry Doyle.
I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us on this week's edition of OHL News. Coming up on the show, we'll check in with the London Knights, as the Knights have a different look this year, but still right in the thick of things for home ice advantage in the first round of the OHL Western Conference. That's coming up in a moment, but first, this week's Cogeco OHL Player of the Week is Kevin He of the Flint Firebirds. He had 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points in 2 Firebirds victories last week. He had 1 point in an overtime loss against the Barrie Colts and followed it up with a season-high 5-point performance in a win against the Sarnia Sting. The 19-year-old, who hails from Nobleton, Ontario, was selected by the Winnipeg Jets in the 4th round of the 2024 National Hockey League entry draft. He became the first ever Chinese-born player selected in the NHL draft. The London Knights have been very busy this season, retooling their roster after last year's Memorial Cup championship. This week, they welcome back 2 familiar faces, and that's where we started our conversation with the longtime radio voice of the Knights, Mike Stubbs. Well, Mike, let's start our conversation with Wednesday night. Obviously, the Kitchener Rangers were in town, and it was a big night for 2 former London Knights who contributed quite a lot over the last few years. Sam O'Reilly, Jared Woolley back wearing Rangers red, white, and blue. I've got to think that was a weird feeling, but I'm sure still a special night.
It was a really special night. They were honored before the game, and they received from the London Knights the last jersey they ever wore in a game as a Knight, encased in glass. They were beautiful. And you think, yeah, that's where your Knights career ended. And then they kept their Kitchener Ranger careers going. Sam O'Reilly had 2 goals and an assist, had the overtime winner. Jared Woolley was a guy who was a force, as always, on defense, had an assist, was named the game's 2nd star. So Knights fans had a chance to wish them well, even though they were being honored for the Kitchener Rangers winning. But I think the Knights fans will take that game. It was an exciting game. The Knights were down 3-1 going into the 3rd period, fought back, tied it on a goal by Ryan Brown, and Ryan Brown now has a 7-game point streak. So it's just kind of the way that the hockey business works, and it's always great to see people, even if they're leaving one organization, able to bring success to another one.
I was going to say, obviously Knights fans don't want to see the Rangers win in their building, but the Knights still picked up a point, and I've got to think from the human side of it, just, you couldn't write that script any better. And we see that over years where the player, after being traded, maybe, returns to their old city, scores a big goal, and, fans can't help but cheer for them. And, obviously you've seen lots of this over the years, and I've got to think that's one of those ones you probably at the end of the night think, okay, couldn't have written it any better.
No, you could not have, because Sam O'Reilly flying down the ice on a 2-on-1, keeping and just burying a wrist shot. The Knights have seen that quite often in the years in which he helped them to win back-to-back OHL championships and a Memorial Cup. There were so many little things, Terry, inside the game. In the 3rd period, to start the 3rd period, Sam O'Reilly and Evan Van Gorp are moving in on the opening faceoff, and one of them said something to the other one, and it cracked both of them up. So you see them both laughing off the opening faceoff. There were just little moments like that throughout the game where, yeah, I know you, and we're making this fun. And that's what both Sam and Jared had said, that it was emotional, it was difficult, but they were going to do their best to make it fun, and they did.
It's not that often the London Knights are trading away veterans, and looking towards the future, because obviously with some long playoff runs of late, does that feel just a little strange indeed, where usually Knights return in a lot of cases wearing civvies, wearing civilian clothes to maybe be recognized or just back in the building. It probably had to be a little different to see guys playing for another team.
It did, but this is a junior hockey town in London, and they know how this goes. Even London Knights general manager Mark Hunter admitted at the time he made that particular trade, he made a couple more after that. This is not a part of the business that he enjoys, but he knows that it needs to be done. And it's something they've had to do before in London. It's something they will no doubt have to do again. But you're always looking and saying, all right, how do we make the moves that are best for our franchise to get ourselves into a position to win? And that has brought a lot of the success that the London Knights have enjoyed. So sure, you do lose a couple of players. In this case, you ended up losing more than a couple of players because Julian Brown went to Owen Sound, and he's been a big anchor on their defense. Ben Wilmot went in and scored, 5 goals in his first 5 games for the Barrie Colts. He was absolutely on fire. And the Knights are able to get a guy like Jacob Van de Ven back, and he's a defenseman that's been playing in the GOHL, and he made his OHL debut in Erie, did not look out of place. In fact, by the third period, he was doing some of the things that he'd been doing in the GOHL, handling the puck, bringing it in from the blue line. And so he's somebody who definitely is on the London Knights' radar going forward.
Now let's talk about the team in general. Here we are into February, and right there competing for home ice in the first round of the playoffs with the Greyhounds. So I've got to think it's still a club where some of the names are different. Obviously, there's still some returnees as well, but still right there in the thick of things.
It does come down to that coaching. It comes down to the buy-in that every team wants to have, and the Knights really do have that. It's how they came back against the Kitchener Rangers. It's how they have made things close against really good teams, Sault Ste. Marie included, the last time the Knights were in the Soo. I think the big question, Terry, is when do we declare London versus Sault Ste. Marie a first-round matchup? We're getting pretty close.
Yeah, those two teams, it looks like they're going to play each other in the opening round. And that could be a fun series. Two teams that don't mind battling. Henry Brustevich is a guy who obviously has been around this Knights team for a couple of years, and it just seems like that guy on the blue line, obviously a high NHL pick, who's been a big factor to probably be that veteran presence among the transition.
He has been, and he's taken on that role exactly. He's somebody that when he came in as a 16-year-old, he had the maturity of somebody who was not 16. He had the maturity of somebody who was in his early 20s. And so that has only grown. And he takes on a lot of minutes. He takes on a lot of responsibility. He plays against the other team's top players. And he's been paired recently with Caleb Mitchell. And Caleb Mitchell has made some huge strides this year as just a 17-year-old. And he and Henry seem to work very well together. But Henry on the ice, off the ice, he's carrying on that pass the torch, pass the baton mentality that you want to have in an organization.
That was Mike Stubbs, the longtime play-by-play voice of the London Knights. Let's take a look at this week's CHL Top 10 rankings, presented by Delta Hotels by Marriott. The Everett Silvertips lead the way from the Western Hockey League in the national rankings, while the OHL is represented at number 3 by the Brantford Bulldogs, up a spot from last week. Also checking in from the OHL, 3 more teams. The Ottawa 67s at 8, the Barrie Colts at 9, and number 10 goes to the Kitchener Rangers. That's going to do it for our show this week. You've been listening to OHL News. I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us.
It's the second intermission between the Barrie Colts and the North Bay Battalion. Now, the Barrie Colts right now 3-1 on the troops, and there may have been a goal at the last second from Lear Mamedovsky, but they announced that the puck did not cross the line until after the horn went off. So it remains 3-1. North Bay continuing to try and battle here, although Bronson Ride out of the game with that spearing major that happened in the second. But the Barrie Colts, despite having a 5-minute power play, just not able to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, and if that goal had counted, it would have shown why getting a goal or two on that power play would have been so huge. Make that deficit 3 or 4, really put the North Bay Battalion in a bad spot. But instead, if they get that goal, make it 3-2, all of a sudden this game's kind of turning around. North Bay's got all the momentum going into the third off that second goal, but luckily for the Colts, doesn't end up counting, and they still hold a 2-goal lead, which means Battalion are still in it, thanks to the fact that Colts power play wasn't able to get the job done there in the second half of the period.
And the Barrie Colts now 20 minutes away from clinching a playoff spot, so they need at least 1 point this afternoon, and they will book their ticket to the 2026 OHL postseason. Now, we do have the chat up and running, so if you want to join the conversation, you can head on over there. We are doing our concession review again in a few moments, but in the meantime, there's some important games right now happening around the OHL.
Yeah, we're going to start in Kingston. The Brantford Bulldogs have a 3-2 lead over the Frontenacs in the third period. Nolan Snyder of the Frontenacs making it a 1-goal game early in the third. Sudbury up 3-2 on the Oshawa Generals in the third period. Be a big 2 points there for Sudbury if they can hold on. The Sioux up 3-2 still on Windsor. Windsor's gotten 2 straight as they get back into that game. And then Owen Sound in Ottawa after the first period. It's a 2-2 tie. Noah Roberts, Cole Zareski, the goal scorers for Owen Sound.
And it's been a really tough road trip for the Owen Sound attack. Duff loss in Peterborough and Kingston, and now having to play that 67s team. So we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out as the Barrie Colts looking to keep pace with both Brantford and Ottawa at the top of the Eastern Conference standings. Now, we had a super earlier in the game wanting us to try the desserts. What's it called again?
Funnel cake.
Funnel cake, the dessert funnel cake. But you came in here, and I was doing some notes and looking at things, and you were like, Mike, I got bad news.
I know. I looked around, and we couldn't find any funnel cake. Not sure if I went to the wrong concession. I went to 2 concession stands, so I put in the effort.
Yeah.
I want to make it clear. So then I settled and I said, well, we can't do funnel cake, but we could do donuts. There was a 6-pack, 12-pack, figured 6-pack would be a nice.
Great.
Donuts would be great. Get up there. I said, hey, can I have a donuts, please? And she goes, oh, sorry, we don't have donuts.
What is going on here?
Oh, man.
Online, it says they're known for their funnel cake.
I know,
But now there's no donuts.
that was posted in 2022, so maybe changes have happened.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. So as for donuts, no donuts. I did remember Tammy mentioning pizza though, so grabbed a couple slices of pizza. We're each gonna get a slice, and
It looks so basic.
it does look very basic.
Okay.
They only had pepperoni and cheese.
Okay.
I asked for 2 slices. She gave me these 2 slices, and
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take this one then.
okay,
You take that one.
okay.
So the North Bay or Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens concession review. This pizza doesn't have a lot of bend to it.
It feels cardboardy.
It's pretty solid.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. Can we go back to French fries?
I think we might have to.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
It's not the best.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't buy the pizza.
Nope.
Well then, that's our
unfortunate.
Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens concession review on the pizza.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll get funnel cake somewhere else.
Hopefully.
I don't know what Ottawa's known for. Maybe they have
There's
funnel
something
cake.
online about a duck sandwich and
A duck sandwich? What is a duck sandwich?
duck on bread. Quack.
Wow. Okay then. Yeah, that pizza's not great. I'm going to just put this over here. Let's carry on with the broadcast, shall we?
I got sauce on my face.
Man, I hope you didn't pay for a lot for that.
$6.15.
Okay. So that's our that's our review from the concession here
We're
in
never getting
North Bay.
invited back.
No, they need to work on their pizza here.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Liam's asking about the press box catering. Actually, they gave us chili before the game.
Chili, garlic bread, and some salad. It was really good. Some coffee as well, which wasn't bad. And
I like Liam's commentary. I like that he's joining us.
don't eat it.
But yeah, we had a great, a good meal before the game with the chili. But that pizza, no. If you're coming to a game in North Bay, don't do the pizza. That's our review.
Now I'm hungry, so I'm gonna finish it. But
You're gonna finish
I'm
it.
gonna finish it. But yeah, no, not that great.
Well, we want to thank you, Liam, for your super there. We apologize that we couldn't get the funnel cake. Can't find it here. They didn't even have donuts, so we wanted to still do a review because of the super. So we appreciate you doing that, Liam. And man, we need to go back to Owen Sound for some French fries.
I need more French fries to make me feel better. Yeah, so if you've been to a 67s game and you like something there, let us know, and hopefully we can get something a bit better. I think the rankings got to go Owen Sound, Brampton.
Yeah, those Brampton French fries were better than the pizza in North Bay.
They were solid. They were solid. They weren't Owen Sound French fries, but I thought they were better than the pizza.
North Bay has a lot of work to do.
They got a lot of work to do. Although credit to them, 3 good medium meals this year.
The media room, they do a great job.
They hit. Concession stand, not the best.
Yeah.
Some work to do.
We're going to have our own power rankings when it comes to food. And Tammy's saying next time, get a hot dog.
Get a hot dog, yeah.
I hope the hot dogs are better than the pizza here. But anyways, we're going to get ready for the third period of play now between the Barrie Colts and the North Bay Battalion. And, yeah, we'll have to get past that pizza, or that pizza. And Liam's saying, how can you have a good crowd when the food is rubbish? Basic Canadian 101. Yeah, and pizza's something that's usually simple.
Yeah.
You would think. But every rink's known for its thing. Owen Sound, obviously, for its French fries. North Bay is supposed to be for its funnel cake.
Well, they were at one point. Don't know if they...
Well, the menu from 2022 says it was.
I don't know.
Man, I was excited for funnel cake.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
I know. But I feel bad.
Well, if someone from North Bay wants to reach out and send us funnel cake.
That would make up for this.
Well, we are getting ready for the third period of play here. It's a 3-1 hockey game for the Barrie Colts, and we are back underway. Face-off won by the Colts, ends up at center ice. Baudouin can't get a stick on it. Petrie's going to peel back into his own zone. Sends that one over to Greer. Greer turns it over to Cole Baudouin. Baudouin to Zabeski. Ahead for Hemming, but that rolled on him, and Jack Lisson is going to cover it up at the side of the net.
Very crunchy crust.
I could hear that crunch. Oh, man. So it's going to be a face-off here to the left of Lisson. Baudouin staying out there, taking a draw against Ethan Procession. Face-off, won by North Bay. Enright sends it back to Greer. Greer, they'll skate this one up. Knocked down by Baudouin. That'll escape the zone. Baudouin ahead to Zabeski. Here's Mason Zabeski. Zabeski facing pressure across to Hemming. Hemming shot deflected. Loose puck Zabeski, and what a save by Lisson. He was sliding across. I think he may have lost his footing, but still somehow able to make the save.
Yeah, Jack Lisson, a great play there. Sliding across on Zabeski, who was open, looking for another goal there.
Are they going to review this?
Well, they're having a discussion.
Evan Passmore was pointing at the net. And the Colts are celebrating as if the puck went in. So Mason Zabeski giving the high fives along the bench. That may be a goal. I thought Lisson made the save.
Got a goal.
And they're pointing at center ice. I thought Jack Lisson came across.
I never saw it go in.
So apparently it's now 4-1. Obviously, they're going to review this just to make sure.
Well, here's our replay. So Zabeski comes into the zone, gets it across, and then Hemming His pass knocked down, and it deflects out to Zabeski, and can't really see it
I don't
yet.
see the puck.
Oh, there.
Do you see it?
I think I see it. Is that it right there?
Oh, inside the post.
Inside the post.
That's in the net. So that's going to be Mason Zabeski's goal. That's going to make it 4-1.
A big goal here early for the Colts to make it a 4-1 game. And talked about those third periods. Really good. The Barrie Colts as of late. And they get another early goal here. They're still working on stuff here with the timekeepers. They're not on the tablets or anything.
Well, we're just waiting for the referees to do this review. They did point to center ice, so the referees had their conversation at the blue line and pointed to center ice, saying it's a good goal. Obviously, they're going to want to take a look at this, but I love how casual Evan Passmore skates to the net, and he's just pointing with his stick. Hey,
Yeah, it did.
that's in the net.
Well, I thought Aitchison kind of just tap it in the net afterwards. I thought he was maybe just messing around, but then another point to center ice.
pointing at
We do have
center.
a good goal, and Colts have a 3-goal lead.
Yeah, I thought Listen made the save, but either way, Mason Zabeski getting his 16th of the season. He's really been picking it up these last couple of weeks. Scored his first as a Colt down in Flint last weekend.
Yeah, 3 goals in his last 4 road games.
So not too bad there for Mason Zabeski. So it's now a 4-1 hockey game. Von Richter has it inside the blue line. He'll send this one out. Knocked down there by Salandra. Joe Salandra sends this one ahead. Harper can't get that one to go too far. Brad Gardner now in the neutral zone across to Wilmot. Wilmot up to Salandra. Salandra to the net. Stopped by Listen. As this line has really been picking it up. That chemistry, Wilmot, Gardner, and Salandra.
Yeah, every time they get the puck, it seems like they're right back in the zone doing damage. Another great opportunity there. Salandra was able to get loose and get a chance at the net there. That Listen able to make the save, though, but Barrie, one more goal would really put this one out of reach, make it a 4-goal game.
Well, they're out shooting the Battalion 26-16. Face-off won by the Colts. Wilmot comes back to the line. Cross for Hanser. Justin Hanser gets around Amidovsky. In front, Salandra. Doesn't take the shot. Goes to the boards. Back to Von Richter. Takes the shots. And Listen, able to get that glove on it. As you've got Hanser going towards the net. That's going to get some attention, but nothing more will come of it.
A good look there for Von Richter to try and make it 5-1. Listen able to make the save, and Barrie continuing with this second line out there, second unit on defense as well, as trying to get another goal here early in the third.
Colts that much closer to officially clinching a playoff spot, as they only need 1 point, but right now up 4-1. Face off to the left to Listen. Won by the Battalion. Enright sends it back to Manzo. That doesn't escape the zone. Good work there by Hanser. Goes to Gardner. His shot stopped by Listen. Wilmot couldn't hold on to that one. Taken away by the Battalion. They're going to get this one out down the ice. Von Richter back to plate at the blue line. Up to Brad Gardner. Gardner chips it up to Salandra. Joe Salandra enters the zone. He'll flip this one deep. Puck goes to the corner. Manzo collects it here for North Bay. Sending it up to Pronin. Pronin will get this one out. He had Eliasson coming at him. Colts with it. That's Ben Wilmot. Wilmot reaches center, weaving his way through the neutral zone. He'll dump it in. Puck comes around. Enright. After it, Desiderio gets a stick on it. Baudouin down low for the Colts. Staying on his skates. Comes back to the line. Sets up Eliasson. Takes the shots. And Pronin in the way. And that's going to go out of play.
Well, Dylan Smoskowitz feeling the Colts' momentum right now, and they've had the puck in the North Bay zone for basically the entire 2 minutes of the start of the second or the third period here. And seeing that goes to his 2 fourth-liners and Newton Desiderio, put them in between Cole Baudouin and try and get one more, make it 5-1.
So face off to the right of Listen. Cole Baudouin's going to be tossed out, so in steps Jaden Newton up against Cam Warren. Face-off won by the Colts. Desiderio, he's going to send this one around. Emerton comes off the point. Paul Emerton down low for the Colts. Sets up Baudouin from the corner. Cole Baudouin, surrounded by green sweaters, goes back to the line. It's taken away by Moses over to Vaughn. Parker Vaughn, the goal scorer for North Bay, goes back to Moses. Shamar Moses hits the brakes, drops it there for Warren. Warren spinning in the corner, taken there by Newton. Colts get it out. Baudouin has it in his skates. He'll skate this one in. Baudouin fires, shot, scores! Cole Baudouin goes 5-hole on Jack Lisson, and the Barrie Colts are now up 5-1.
Well, the Colts, a great start to this period, and it continues here with that goal from Baudouin, his second of the afternoon, and those fourth liners out there for another goal against the North Bay Battalion. This puck goes ahead. Baudouin does a nice job working his way around the defense there. Shoots it past Lisson, and Colts are firing on all cylinders now. It's 5-1.
Like you said, that's now 2 goals in the afternoon for Baudouin. He's now up to 22 on the season. And the North Bay Battalion calling a timeout. As North Bay wanting to settle things down. They were so close to getting within a goal in that at the end of the second period. And now it looks like we're going to get a goaltending change.
Battalion switching things up in net. Jack Lisson coming out here for the backup netminder in Cole Vrugdenhill.
Yeah.
Vrugdenhill. Nailed that one.
First try.
There you go. Gentlemen, there we go. Of course, his name's not in the media guide.
Exactly. That's how it works.
32. Well, for Vrugdenhill, his third appearance of the season. 1-1 on the year with an .877 save percentage and a 4.00 goals against average. And try and get him scored here with Lisson struggling a bit for the second half of back-to-back.
All for Lisson, giving up 5 goals on 29 shots. So the Battalion deciding change things up. Cole Vrugdenhill in the net. Remember, Mike McIver, he's out due to injury. He's been the starter for most of the season, and then Lisson has taken over. But this afternoon, this game has gotten away from North Bay. Right now, the Battalion trying to respond. Here's Wellenreiter, takes the shot, stop, rebound, trying to find it with procession. Harevic has lost his stick. Harper gets it at the point. Harevic gets his twig back. Bunks behind the Barrie net. Pass more ahead for Schneid. Schneid trying to get a stick on it there. Battalion keep it in the offensive zone. Puck ends up behind the Barrie net. Evan Passmore. He's going to leave it there for Eliasson as both teams right now making a change. Eliasson will take his time. Cole Baudouin, 2 goals this afternoon. He picks it up. Baudouin going for a skate. Reaches center ice. Flips this one in. Gets by the defender. Puck's in the corner. And right is hit hard there by Baudouin. Battalion, though, they'll get it out the other way. Here's Laird. Through center. He'll dump it in. Around the boards it goes. Debratsev picks it up here for North Bay. Laird. He's knocked over. Battalion trying to move it around, but it's taken by the Colts, and Baudouin's going to get it out. Cole Baudouin enters the attacking zone, puts this one across to Aitchison. Kayshawn Aitchison cuts to the middle, takes the shot, stopped by Vrugdenhill, puck's at the side of the net, bouncing in the air as Zabeski finds it. Back to the line, but Vader couldn't keep that in the offensive end. Teague Vader, long pass, up ahead to Hemming. Emil Hemming, up ahead to Baudouin. Baudouin trying to send it back, taken away there by Greer. Then right. Around the net here for the Battalion. Has it deep in his zone. Goes to Greer. Greer up ahead to Gervais. Gives that one up to Callie. Ryder Callie drops it to Pronin. Across. Champ scores. That one tipped in. As that was shot by Sebastian Gervais. And the North Bay Battalion not done yet. It's now 5-2.
Well, good bounce back there for North Bay off the timeout. Gervais leading the pile. They're not sure if it hit a Colts player out in front of the net here. It took a weird hop. Callie bringing it into the zone, drops it off, Cronin across, and comes out in the front, goes in the back of the net, past Ben Harevic, and North Bay's got it back within 3.
Yeah, it looks like it should be Sebastian Gervais' goal. So for Gervais, the former Saginaw Spirit, now 17 goals on the season. As it looked like it took a bit of a deflection, but now the Battalion, they're within 3. We still have 15:22 left to go in the game. Gervais has it again to the net. Callie, but it bounces over a stick. Thrown in after it towards the net, blocked by Von Richter. Hands are behind the goal, facing pressure there from Gervais. Along the boards, Hanser takes a hard hit from Cronin. Battle in the corner. Hanser loses it to Callie, trying to bank it off of Horebic. Hit him in the side of the mask. Puck's in the corner. Battalion trying to move this one around. Cronin loses it. At the blue line, Salandra across to Wilmot. Ben Wilmot reaches center. He's going to dump it in. Around the boards it goes. Salandra can't get a stick on it. Picked up by Gervais. Sebastian Gervais, the latest scorer for North Bay, puts it off the end boards. Harper back to play it. Brant Harper, his pass, deflected by Wilmot. Ryder Callie reaches center ice. He's going to skate this one in. Across to Vaughn. His shot turned aside by Horebic. Puck comes out to the neutral zone. Manzo with possession now for North Bay. Up to Moses. He's going to dump it in. Horebic behind his own net. Passes this one over. Von Richter can't get a stick on it. Warren forces it down low. Collected by Emerton. He'll drop that one back to Von Richter. Here is Emil Hemming. Emil Hemming through center. He's going to carry this one in. Desiderio, he's tripped up. And now we've got a pen. As Desiderio was hauled down at the blue line, it's Ethan Procession heading off.
That's going to be for a hook here, and frustration becoming a factor for North Bay. Obviously, lose the game last night in disappointing fashion late in that one. And then here tonight, or this afternoon, it's been a bit of a tough one. You go down 3-1, and Barrie, they add on 2 more here. Power play yet again.
And this Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. And the power play has been a struggle here this afternoon for the Barrie Colts. Already 0 for 3. And that 5-minute major, it seemed like they had a hard time just getting things going. And I almost wonder if it's one of those situations where you feel like you have a lot of time to work with, so you kind of take things a little easier.
Yeah, well, we saw North Bay be pretty patient last night in overtime, and it ended up costing them there. Trying to look for that perfect opportunity. Barrie taking too much time here on the power play. Play a couple times there. They didn't really get anything going on their first 3. And kind of similar last night. The first 2, nothing was really happening, but then they get that goal on the final one.
So the face-off won by the Colts. Emil Hemming comes off the boards. Over to Aitchison. Stopped by Vergenhill. Puck comes back to the point. Kept in by Beaudoin. Beaudoin, though, he has that knocked out to center. Emerton will settle it down at center. Emerton from the blue line. Still a minute 36 on the man advantage. Wilmot enters the zone. Back over to Aitchison. Aitchison doesn't take the shot. He'll come back to the point. Over to Beaudoin on the far side. Beaudoin down low. Hemmings pass is deflected. That was Enright getting in the way. Kayshawn Aitchison back to the point. Keeps this one in. Goes to Beaudoin. Beaudoin over to shot scores. On the power play, it's Ben Wilmot. They extend the lead. It's now 6-2.
Well, the third goal in the first 7.5 minutes of the third period here for the Colts. Ben Wilmot adding another. He's got 12 now as a Barrie Colt. He's been so good for this team since the trade deadline. Beaudoin was open, sending it across, and then the one-timer. It's that 5-hole left wide open by Vergenhill. It's now 6-2.
And we were just talking a moment ago how the power play has kind of struggled this afternoon, and then just like that,
Kind of like last night, they took a while, but they get the one chance on the Wilmot one-timer, and they score.
Yeah, right on cue. So Wilmot second tonight, and now 24 on the season as that puck's going to go out of play. And I think they're going to say it was deflected, so this will not be a delay game penalty against North Bay, but actually the linesmen are now joining them in the conversation, so is this going to be another penalty against the Battalion?
I think they're trying to discuss whether deflected off up top there. It is a shorter ceiling.
Well, the first official said it was deflected. So wait and see. Yep, they're going to say it's a delay game. Puck over the glass. So things have just gone from bad to worse here for the North Bay Battalion.
Yeah, things are falling apart here in the third. 3 goals against, 2 penalties as well. And how Barrie a chance to get 4 goals in the first half of this period if they can add another one on the power play. Lyra Mamedovsky heading to the box here.
This is the 5th power play of the afternoon for the Barrie Colts, and this latest power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. So face off to the left of Rugnenhill. Face off won by the Colts. Von Richter can't keep this one in. Callie chasing after it. Ryder Callie shorthanded. Callie takes the shot, puts that one over the net. Puck's going to sail out to the neutral zone. Battalion get it again. Here's Gervais. He's going to go back to his defense. Barch has to skate back after it. Here's Enright behind his own net. Taking time off this Colts power play down to a minute 37. That goes off the end boards. Von Richter there to collect it. Von Richter up ahead to Gardner. Picked up by Crombie. Calvin Crombie had his pocket picked by Gervais. Sebastian Gervais hits the brakes. Gardner, he takes it, and the Colts move it up. Here's Mason Zabeski. Zabeski carrying it in for the Colts. Passes this one back to Gardner, but that got away from him. Colts right now having issues sending things up on this man advantage. Crombie's going to dump it in. Ends up behind the North Bay net. Barch just hammers that one around. Horebic behind his own net. Power play here now down to a minute 2. Cole Emerton will skate this one out for the Colts. Reaches center ice. Emerton trying to send this one back. Taken away there by Parker Vaughn. Vaughn along the boards. Taking time off this power play. Now down to 46 seconds. Puck comes back to the point. Aitchison, one-timer, stopped by Rugnenhill. Aitchison after it along the boards. Trying to send this one around. Here's Hemming across to Beaudoin. Beaudoin comes back to the point. Sets up Emerton. Cole Emerton. Aitchison doesn't take the shot. Goes back to Emerton. Aitchison, one-timer, but that's blocked by Moses. And the Battalion get this one out. Knocked out by Aitchison at center. Beaudoin makes a move, carries this one in now for the Colts, hits the brakes. Beaudoin along the far boards, battling there with Greer at the blue line. Wilmot, Emerton, over to Aitchison, back to Emerton at the point. 4 seconds left in the power play. Beaudoin down low to Hemming. Hemming across Wilmot and hesitated there as it was tipped by Manzo. Power play has come to an end. Wilmot behind the net. He's going to lose it as the Battalion turn it over. Now it's picked off here by Amidovsky, and he's going to skate it out. We're now past the midway point of the third period. Amidovsky moved to the net. Forehand around. Stopped by Horebic. What a save by the Colts netminder. As that was a huge stop there on Liram Amidovsky.
Yeah, really nice look there for Liram Amidovsky, but Horebic spreads the pads out there to make the save as Hemming tried to slide it out front. Amidovsky did a nice job picking that puck off, heading back the other way, and not able to find the back of the net. Amidovsky, one of the better Battalion players this season, 18 goals, tied for first on the team, and then 33 points on the year.
So we'll get this face-off now to the left of Horebic. 6-2 is the score right now for the Barrie Colts. Face-off won by Barrie. Desiderio goes back behind the net for Eliasson. Up to Schneid. Schneid takes the hit from Amidovsky. Amidovsky going behind the net. Gets around Passmore. Puck's in the far corner. Amidovsky loses an edge. Puck's sitting there. Passmore overskates it. Picked up by Pronin. Pronin off the half boards. In front. Deflected. Delayed penalty here. It's going against the Barrie Colts. And right at the point. Takes the shot. Stop. Rebound. Pronin gets another chance. Stopped again by Horebic. Desiderio will touch it up. Now we're going to get the call, and it's going to be a hook. So the North Bay Battalion are going to go on the man advantage.
Well, the refs are getting a standing ovation from some fans here after that call, maybe showing their displeasure with the officiating throughout the game. Jaden Newton going to head to the box. And North Bay going to get another power play. It's been a while since they've had a power play.
This is just the second power play of the game for North Bay. It was Parker Vaughn who scored a power play goal back in the first period. They were 1-for-1 on the man advantage. So a chance to try and get within reach of this one. They win the faceoff. Vaughn out there for North Bay. Take the shot for Session down low. At the blue line, Greer. Sets up Petrie. In front, that misses. Wellenreiter after the loose puck. Nick Wellenreiter. Behind the boards to Procession. That's taken away by the Colts. Kept in by Greer. Zabeski follows it up. Wellenreiter is in the way. They can't clear it. Puck goes to an open wing. Calvin Crombie collecting it for the Colts. Spins around and gets it out. Here's Mason Zabeski in the neutral zone. Shorthanded. Zabeski towards the net. Looks back. Takes a couple of hacks there from Wellenreiter. taking time off the North Bay power play, which is down to 1:17. Procession skates it up, goes to Wellenreiter, back to Procession. Procession in front, puck's loose. Petrie shot stopped by Hrebeck, far side, and the Colts clear it out. North Bay getting it towards the net, but a little too close there to getting a shot. 1 minute still remaining in the penalty to Jaden Newton. Battalion will move it up. This is Greer taking his time, reaches the blue line, now goes to Callie. Ryder Callie picks up some speed, pass more, takes the shot, stop, rebound, puck's loose, they score! Even Procession in the slot hits the power play marker, and it's now a 6-3 score.
All credit to this North Bay group. They haven't seemed to give up on this game. They've been trailing by 3 multiple times here in the third period, and they continue to fight. Procession getting the most recent goal here as the puck came out in front. Able to find the back of the net and beat Ben Hrebeck there. And North Bay has once again made it a 3-goal game here.
That's now 19 goals on the season for Ethan Procession. So time becoming a factor here as North Bay trying to come back. 8:04 left to go in the third period. Colts get it off the draw. Here's Emil Hemming. Hemming enters the zone. It takes a hit along the boards. Hemming trying to play this one back. Picked up by Wilmot. Wilmot has that knocked off his stick. Debroncev will skate this one forward, and the Battalion move it up. Here's Laird. He'll enter the zone. Laird makes a move. Can't take the shot as Wilmot tied up his stick. Colts get this one ahead. Wilmot knocks this one down ice. Hemming couldn't get a stick on it. Ends up back in the very end. Now down to 7.5 minutes remaining. Some tense moments here at the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens. Emil Hemming skates in. Nice move by Hemming to get around Enright, and then he ends up falling as he got to the net. Puck goes to the corner. Beaudoin digs this one free for the Colts. Drops this one back. Hemming after it. In front. Wilmot shot stopped there. Rugenhill. And he has it. He's going to hold on. He didn't know where it was. But man, oh man, Ben Wilmot so close to the hat trick.
Yeah, a nice look there for Wilmot. Bergendell didn't look like he knew where it was. I'm not sure he thought he had it, but sees all the players surrounding him, and he just holds tight there and kind of like hugging himself, and is able to hold on to it.
Well, he had Ben Wilmot point blank right in front of him to make that save. Face off won by the Colts. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison, but that's taken away. Good work there by Amidovsky. Amidovsky drops this back to Warren. Cam Warren enters the zone. He was tied up. Schneid turns it over, and he's run over. What a hit by Amidovsky. Play continues. Colts move it up. Desiderio trying to get a stick on it as Harper lost his stick. Barch goes behind his own net, dropping it there for Gervais. Gervais keeping it away from Desiderio. Schneid's there. Back to Von Richter. Parker Von Richter down low. In front, stopped by Vergenhill. Puck's loose. They're digging for it. Battalion moving up. They're going to get this one out to center ice. Slandra got a stick on it. It's laid offside. Now he'll play it. Warren back to Birch. Over to Harper. Harper up the wing. Picked up on the far side. Battalion send it in. And Wellenreiter dumps Slandra. Play continues. Here's Von Richter in his own zone. Across to Kayshawn Aitchison. Aitchison's pass is deflected. Slandra's going to dump it in. That goes on net. Rugenhill will leave it there for his defense. Just over 6 minutes now remaining. Dropping it back. Petrie over to Greer. Greer through center. Manzo on the wing. That gets by Emerson. Petrie was in tight. Couldn't get a shot to go inside of the nets, and that misses. Great chance there for Debroncev. Now the Colts come the other way. Gardner had that taken away from him. Battalion move it up quickly. It's Caden Petrie. Petrie on the far side hits the brakes. His shot deflected over the net. Gardner after the loose puck. He's going to send this one across. That goes off Greer. Battalion get it again. Parker Vaughn on the near side. Vaughn towards the net. Backhand hits the side of the goal. Hrebeck was bumped there in his crease. Play continues. Here's Vaughn. Takes the shot. Kicked aside by Hrebeck. His stick's actually behind the net. Colts will get it out. Here's Calvin Crombie. Crombie carrying this one in. Enright ties him up. Harper picks up the loose puck here for North Bay. Harper has some space. He'll go up to Parker Vaughn. Vaughn back to Harper. Harper reaches center. Picked up here by Cronin. Cronin carrying this one in. Takes the shot, and that's deflected. That'll go off the ceiling, and we'll get the whistle with 4:55 left to go in the third period.
Well, credit to the battalion. They haven't given up on this game, and they've been laying some nice hits here as of late. Amadovsky on Schneid, and then Wellenreiter laid a nice shot on Solander there in front of the benches. That got Shmar Moses excited on the bench.
Well, it's been such a physical home and home series. We saw the physicality last night in Barrie, and it's just carried over into this afternoon's game. And just the intensity. And these two teams, they know what's on the line. The Colts want to keep pace with Brantford and Ottawa at the top of the conference. While North Bay trying to hold off Niagara and Kingston this is that tense time of the season where these points are big.
Yeah, North Bay doesn't own the tiebreaker on Niagara, so getting a win today would have been nice. And then for the Colts, Brantford did win their game by a score of 5-2, and then Ottawa right now down 4-3 to Owen Sound. So not able to gain ground on Brantford, but you're able to keep pace, and there's a chance, though, you're able to gain a point or two here today on the 67s, depending on where that game goes over the next hour or so.
So face-off brought back into the Barrie zone, won by the Colts. Hanser's going to send this one around. Far side, that's Zabeski. Zabeski puts it off the boards. Newton chasing after it. Enright's there. That's sent back out to center ice. Debratsev skates this one up for the battalion. Between the leg pass. Dropping this one back. Cronin trying to go back to Laird. We're at the blue line. Harper, his shot on goal. And Harebik at the top of the blue paint. He's able to hold on to it.
A good save there by Harebik. A bit of a tough period for him with the 2 goals against, obviously, but another solid night for him. 25 of 28 right now, approaching that 30 shot mark. A couple more saves will get him back into a 900 save percentage on the afternoon.
Well, a much busier day than what we saw down in Brampton Friday night. As the Steelheads just weren't able to get a lot of traffic in on the Colts, but definitely a stronger showing here for the North Bay Battalion. As the Colts keep it in, here's Cole Bodwin behind the back pass to Hemming. Across, there's a shot off the post. That was Aitchison. Aitchison had a lane to the net. Hergenhill makes the save. Enright gets it again, being pursued there by Wilmot. Enright with possession. He'll go back to Harper as the battalion regroup. Laird puts this one off the boards, out to center. Von Richter can't get a stick on it. Debratsev chases after it. Debratsev has it in the corner, taken away there by Wilmot. Wilmot already 2 goals this afternoon. His pass picked off by Gervais. Gervais skates this one in for the battalion. Stopped there by Harebik. Puck goes to the corner. Von Richter playing it there to Bodwin behind the net. Kayshawn Aitchison has it now. Up to Bodwin, trying to get this one out of the zone. Wilmot turns that one over. Here's Ryder Cali. Cali blows a tire at the line. Colts get it down the ice. Barch there to pick it up for North Bay. Up to Gervais. Gervais sends this one towards the net. That's sent to the corner. Picked up by Vaughn. At the blue line, kept in by Barch. Cali behind the net. That pass is blocked. Gervais turning this one over. Picked up by Desiderio. Here comes Desiderio on the wing. Passes it over. Gardner, though, couldn't get a stick on it. Parker Vaughn back the other way for the battalion. 3 minutes left to go in this hockey game. 6-3 for the Barrie Colts. Passmore putting it off the end boards to Hanser. Justin Hanser will flip this one ahead. That's going to go down the length of the ice. Icing waved off. Enright will play it. Aaron Enright hits the brakes. He's got Desiderio there on the forecheck. Sends this one back to Greer. Greer dropping it back to Enright. Enright will regroup here as the battalion trying to get back into this hockey game. Right now down by 3. Here's Ryder Cali. Sends it across, but Hanser got a stick in the lane. Desiderio up ahead. Gardner after the loose puck. He'll pick it up. Brad Gardner just flips this one to the near corner. He's going to go after it. Enright after it first. Gives it up to Manzo. Adrian Manzo skates this one forward. Reaches center ice. Manzo sends this one deep. Vader after the loose puck behind his own net. That's taken away. Battalion in front. Manzo, though, had his stick lifted by Newton. And that's going to go down the length of the ice. Here's Harper. He'll set things up here for the battalion. Takes his time. Under 2 minutes remaining now. Warren along the boards. Low. Trying to pursue Warren. Warren comes back to the point. To Moses. Moses off the boards. Takes the shot. Stop. Rebound. Scores. Right place, right time. That's Brant Harper. And it's now a 6-4 hockey game.
The battalion defenseman was able to sneak in there, get down low, and was left unguarded out front of the net. Just sneaking through the middle, got past Jade Newton there. Von Richter didn't realize he was coming. North Bay not giving up still. They've made it a game, only down by 2 now, a minute 44. It's still going to be tough, but it's not impossible.
Well, just the other night here against the Windsor Spitfires, they were down by 2 goals twice and managed to come back to win that one in a shootout against the Spitfires. And now Bergen Hill's going off for the extra attacker. Got a minute 36 left to go. Babe, they have it in the attacking zone. Von Richter will get this one out. Rear knocks it down at center ice, dumps it into the Barrie end. Aitchison sees that empty net. He fires it. It's deflected. Bodwin gets it at center. Wellenreiter takes it away from him. Nick Wellenreiter hits the brakes. Trying to generate some space. His shot stopped by Horebic. A big rebound. Colts get to it. Here's Cole Bodwin. He's got an empty net. Already 2 goals this afternoon. His shot goes wide of the net. Wellenreiter after the loose puck. He'll send this one ahead. Knocked down by Hemming. Hemming took a swing, but that's knocked out to center by the battalion. Aitchison's pass is deflected. It rolls to the net, but it's collected by Wellenreiter. We're now in the final minute of the third period. North Bay trying to come back at 6-4. Aitchison gets a stick on it. It's going to go deep into the Barrie zone. Von Richter hammers it around. Gervais takes it. That got by him. Hemming down to the empty cage, but that's going to go wide. And an icing call now against Barrie. So a big face-off coming back into the Colts zone.
Of course, North Bay used their timeout earlier in the period when they went down 5-2 and 5-1. And for the battalion here, they're going to have to change the lines or keep the same guys out there if they're tired. Down these final 37 seconds, Ben Wilmot out on the ice right now looking for that hat trick.
This face-off to the right of Horebic. Ryder Callie taking the draw against Cole Bodwin, won by the battalion. Greer at the point, and right fires. That's blocked. And one on Vaughn. That one stung, and it's going up the middle and into the empty cage as the Barrie Colts. They make it a 7-4 hockey game, and I believe it's Cole Bodwin getting the hat trick.
Yeah, him and Ben Wilmot both with potential hat tricks on the line. It's going to be Bodwin who motions to bring down the hats to the crowd, but I don't see any hats in
well, I didn't see any of the moms with the hats.
Road territory. No hats on the ice, unfortunately. Nice shot from Bodwin, cross ice, empty net to put this game away. Another game that looked like a tight defensive battle late in that second period, but 7 goals here in the third period between these two teams.
So that's now 23 goals on the season for Cole Bodwin. It's a hat trick goal, and more importantly, the Barrie Colts are going to get the win here and clinch a playoff spot as Battalion get it deep in the zone. Hanser's going to send it around. Puck comes to the near side. Bratsev takes the hit, puts it in front to Warren, taken away by Hanser. He's going to flip it out to center. And that will do it. The Barrie Colts have punched their ticket to the OHL playoffs. Now the next mission will be to win the Central Division.
Well, they just made it even more likely today with another 2 points for the Barrie Colts and continuing to extend that gap, now up by 21 points on the Niagara Ice Dogs and the North Bay Battalion. And like Arvin Jaswal said before the game, it's not something the Colts were too focused on, clinching that playoff spot. They knew it was coming, so obviously a pretty light reaction out on the ice right now for the Barrie Colts, not going over the top of the celebration. They've got bigger things on their minds than just clinching a playoff spot. They want to win that division, they want to win the conference, and eventually go on a really good playoff run.
Well, Dylan Smoskowitz, he's all about winning the day. And we've heard that all season long, but you know there's a checklist. Yes, you want to win the day, but that first step is clinching that playoff spot. Next is going to be the division. Obviously, it's a pretty sizable gap right now, so we'll have to wait and see on the math when that could happen. But for the Barrie Colts, they're taking these small steps, and they're kind of ahead of the pace from what we even saw last year with the Barrie team from last season.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier today. Cole Baudouin has already passed, has more points than anyone had on that Barrie Colts team last season. It was a really talented group that maybe never hit full stride there in that second half of the season. Some struggles down the stretch, and even when they had to clinch a playoff spot, it didn't come right away with that group. It took a couple of games of grinding it out to get there, but here the Barrie Colts, they needed 3 points this weekend. They go out, they get 4, and they officially clinched that playoff spot. And like you mentioned, though, it's still a pretty big thing. Obviously, they're going to play it down a bit because of the bigger goals they have in mind, but it's not every year you get to go to the playoffs. Obviously, Barrie's been pretty lucky as of late. They've done a good job. They haven't missed the playoffs since before COVID, and that streak's going to continue on here.
Well, it's quite amazing because we've only reached the 3-quarter mark of the OHL regular season. And so at game 51, Barrie clinching the playoffs is a great achievement. It says a lot about the coaching staff, just how the team has bought into the systems, and they're playing like a well-oiled machine right now. And I think you have to give a lot of credit to Dylan Smoskowitz and the coaching staff to be able to clinch a playoff spot pretty quick. Like, we're only at game 51. It's a 68-game season.
Yeah, keep in mind, this was a Barrie Colts team that didn't bring their best effort early on in the season. I mean, that long 6-game losing streak, they really struggled then, and you were kind of wondering, okay, what is this team? But then they start playing better, and it's like, okay, but does that earlier losing streak, is that going to come back to bite them? The Ice Dogs looked really good at that time. The Battalion have played good hockey throughout the season. Are they going to be able to even get back in the divisional race, or are they going to maybe come up just a bit short to North Bay or Niagara? I think at the least we expected that it was going to take a lot longer than this to pretty much have everything wrapped up. I know obviously the division isn't official yet, but I mean 22 points, the Barrie Colts, or 21 points, sorry, the Barrie Colts, they're in a really good spot when it comes to the division. And next up after that, obviously the conference, still 2 points back at Brantford. Ottawa right now tied at 4 with Owen Sound. That game looks like a barn burner that's going to go right down to the wire. So bit of scoreboard watching after this for the Barrie Colts.
So our 3 stars presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm. Our 3 stars tonight, it's a Barrie Colts sweep. Kayshawn Aitchison, your 3rd star. He had 2 assists tonight. Your 2nd star, Ben Wilmot, what a game, 2 goals and an assist. And are we really surprised? Cole Baudouin, the 1st star, 3 goals and an assist. So a 4-point effort here this afternoon from the co-captain as the Barrie Colts pull off this 7-4 victory and go 3 for 3 in this weekend. Wins against Brampton and then back-to-back now against the North Bay Battalion.
Yeah, Dylan Smoskowitz mentioned it to us when we first got there on Friday against the Steelheads. He did mention how important it was to them, the fact that Brampton starts that road trip, or this 3-game swing. So that's not too bad of a start. You got to go down an hour to Brampton, and you're right back home early that night. And of course, the Barrie Colts, their next 3-3 comes in a couple weeks. And in the middle there, you got to go down to London before coming back the next day to play the Brantford Bulldogs. So that one will be a bit more challenging, but they were able to take advantage of a bit of a lighter 3-3 here when you consider the first night you only went down to Brampton, and then here you have a back-to-back with the same team in the North Bay Battalion, so they weren't able to get any advantage. That's one thing that's happened this year for the Barrie Colts is normally North Bay gets a game or 2 on you at home where they're able to take advantage of the fact that the Colts played at home the night before, but here this year, that didn't happen at all with these 2 p.m. starts on the Sunday afternoon. Just a quick shout out because I saw the Colt moms leaving. Dylan Smoskowitz's mom also made the trip. I saw her jersey. It says Mama Smoss.
That's awesome.
That's an awesome
I was going to say, because from our viewpoint, we can see down the tunnel, and all the moms are congregated where the next to the Colts dressing room. So pretty special for the Barrie Colts to have all the moms here. So the moms trip is a success, and it's another victory here for the Barrie Colts. So next week, the schedule gets pretty light. Just 2 games, and it's the Family Day long weekend. So the Barrie Colts back on home ice Thursday night against the Kingston Frontenacs. Right now, if the playoffs started today, it would be Barrie Kingston in the first round. So maybe a playoff preview.
That could potentially be, and a playoff rematch as well from last season, but not much of a rematch per se because of the amount of players that the Frontenacs have lost since then. It's a much different Kingston team. There are a lot of different pieces are leading the way there. Ronan and Pinanyemi were gone before the season. Whole new goalie duo there as well. And of course, Jacob Battaglia, Tyler Hopkins traded at the trade deadline. But a guy that we like, Malik McGowan, has made a really nice impact. And of course, Barrie Colts, they got to be ready for that game. You can't look ahead to Monday in Ottawa because Kingston Frontenacs, they've been playing good as of late, and they'll take 2 points from you if you're not ready.
Yeah, so that's going to be Thursday night in Barrie. So that broadcast will be on Rogers TV. And then our next broadcast will be Family Day Monday from the nation's capital as we head to Ottawa for what should be an exciting matchup. Two of the top teams in the OHL's Eastern Conference standings, the 67s and the Barrie Colts. It's a 3 p.m. puck drop, so we'll have the live stream up and running here on the channel at 2:45. So we will talk to you there from Ottawa. But for Josh McCann, I'm Mike Poirier saying so long from North Bay, where it's a Barrie Colts 7-4 victory, and more importantly, have clinched a playoff spot.